lightning cracks, moons at max. It's movie night. The gang's all here, gripped with fear. More horror films, alright. From bad to worse and worse to shit, you'll beg to fucking quit. Malevolent Movies has arrived in stereo now, nowhere to hide.
Guys, I'm so angry I could.
Oh no! Don't do it. Everyone wearing their anger condoms.
Yes.
The rage condoms.
I clamped mine on before I got on this call.
Good.
It just showers you and it just burns through you like an alien's blood.
Yeah. It's
Who
awful.
shot the xenomorph? No, Joe just nutted.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Book of Shadows. Here we go. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Malevolent Movies, the podcast, episode number 38. We are on a roll. We are not stopping. We're so close to the big 4-0. And we're commemorating episode 38, however, with a movie that has more clout and more name recognition than your average Malevolent Movies entry. We're going to be talking about the much maligned, controversial 2000 release known as Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. The return of not very much shaky cam and very little faux documentary style.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I want to say right off the bat, I'm so happy to be talking about this. I don't know, this title choice was a left field surprise for me. I'm happy to talk about this movie. I've been watching it off and on for about 20 years now. It's one of these nuts I can't seem to crack whether I like it or not. And I'm not totally sure. But
You could
I'm
say you
excited
don't like it.
I do.
It's
I like
okay.
it, but
okay.
I like it, but I don't. Like, we'll get into it.
Because Ryan sees himself as Jeff.
I like that actor a lot. I was a big fan of the
That's
show
the Burn Notice
Notice
guy, right?
He's phenomenal.
He's got a warehouse, a cool warehouse. He's got an editing rig, dude. He's got that sweet camo band, dude. This is fucking Ryan.
He's got so much physical
Mainstream.
media, it'll make your head
Yeah.
spin.
I like that he's an enterprising guy. He's on the cusp. He saw, he's doing his hustle. He just happens to live in the Blair Witch town. He's like, I'm going to make some money. But he also happens to be crazy. But we don't really know. We don't know.
Well,
And
I
that's-
unfortunately have a lot of answers because I did my research today, folks.
Oh, no.
Mr. Am has never seen Book of Shadows before, and
Same.
I've only seen Blair Witch, I think, twice, and I know enough about it, but like that, I checked with Ryan. I'm like, Ryan, please tell me you know all about the movie.
Oh, yeah.
In case I
It
don't
was
remember
actually
anything. But,
first DVD I ever owned.
but the moment I announced that we were going to watch this movie, who do you think was the first person to fucking jump in that chit chat? Mr. Buckley. You want to know why? Because this movie was absolutely aped by the studio. It was ripped wide open. And so I said, you know what? Fine, Joe. Fine. You can't come on the episode because regular numbered episodes, non-collector's editions. This is adult time. Joe's got a new show now coming back May 23rd. Check that out. But anyways, I said I will watch the fan edit that is a recut of the movie based on the description given by the director. And I also listened to the commentary, which is where he states how he would have done all this stuff. And he speaks very openly about his dissatisfaction with the whole process. And then I watched the movie, the theatrical release. And so I have a lot to say. And can I just jump into the Joe-sized elephant in the room?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to get all philosophical on this. This is not I don't know when it started. It's been around a long time. It's getting louder these days because of the Marvels, because of the DCs and the other franchises. I am so fucking sick and tired of people talking about studio meddling. Like,
Yeah.
because people are coming at it from the perspective of films are meant to be a purely creative endeavor. They're supposed to be for auteurs. They're supposed to be for creatives who have a vision. And I'm sorry, but most of the shit you're going to watch is not that. It's made by studios to make money. And this movie is that same thing. It was made by a studio to make money, to capitalize on the first film. And I don't care what anybody fucking says about Joe, what's the last name? Berlinger's vision. But from the beginning, this guy had no control over the project.
Oh no.
I have.
There's no way. I mean, this came out in 2000. Blair Witch came out in 99.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
they barely
Fall
they had
of
like
99.
8 months of production time
Yeah.
of like regular production and post production. Like
Yes.
Oh yeah.
there was
And-
this is like the definition of studio meddling, but not in the way that Joe thinks it is.
Well,
Yes.
and
Like
I
this
don't know
whole
any-
thing is like
I don't
from
know any
start
of the
to
behind the
finish.
scenes, but if you
Is
told me
this-
that they had started pre-production on a different movie and then they decided like they had locations set and they had already cast
No,
people
that
and they're like,
happened
no,
with the next
I can-
reboot.
I
But
can
that's
tell
what-
you all of
sequel.
that, Mr. Shaw.
because
Okay,
it
so
seems that
yeah.
way.
I'm looking up the
Yeah.
exact release date of the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, it was
July of
it-
'99.
okay, July. Yeah, because it was played at Sundance like the January of '99,
Yeah.
and then
And that's when
everybody
it
was
was
talking
real-
about it.
yeah.
Yeah, this like super scary movie, and is it real? Is it
Yeah.
not real? And then
And then
all
this
that
was
great
Halloween
publicity.
time?
So they were ready to start
Yeah, a
filming
year later.
by February of 2000 with a deadline of an October release. So here's what happened. Joe is it Berlinger?
Berlinger, I believe.
Berlinger, sorry. Joe Berlinger was pitching his own first feature film. This guy is an acclaimed documentary filmmaker. I wonder why they became interested in him. Wink, wink, wink. He was pitching his own feature film to Artisan. He said, and this is everything he said in the commentary. They didn't like it. They didn't like his script. So they said, hey, guess what? We have 3 scripts for what we are hoping will become Blair Witch 2. Why don't you take a look at these? He looked at them. He didn't like them. He said, I'm passing on this. They came back and said, you know what? Why don't you tell us how you would do this? So he only said, I pitched them an alternative, which he kind of goes in at length. It's mostly what you see in this movie with some differences. But anyways, they said, we don't know if we really like that idea, but go ahead and try and write that shit. And he said he was under the impression that if he got involved in the production, that they would move it back and they would give him time to make it. But then he immediately says, but they didn't. They said you have 5 weeks to write the script, and then you have 9 months to shoot, edit, and release on 3,600 screens for October of 2000. This was all up front. This guy was not bamboozled. He wasn't tricked.
Yeah.
Here's what I think personally, and he didn't give me any hints at this. I just think this guy was an acclaimed documentary filmmaker. People knew his name. They wanted to attach him to a sequel based on a supposed documentary film. And this guy, I think he thought, you know what? If this goes big, then I get more clout from this than if I release my own, feature film.
Oh yeah,
He had nothing
This
to
could
lose,
launch
really.
me, and then I could
Oh, yeah.
get Spielberg bucks down the line.
And worst case, you continue to be someone that like the normal movie going public doesn't know, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So the differences in this movie, while
Check.
I did my digging online, I looked at what the fans were saying of this stuff and of Joe's vision. It's not that much different than the theatrical cut. All of the insert shots of the blood and the gore, wasn't in his vision, either in his script or in his initial edit. The interrogation sequence, all of that was at the end. You didn't get that context, so it's more of a reveal. So whereas, I don't want to spoil the reveal for the people enjoying this show, but you learn a lot at the very end of his thing, whereas in this, you're kind of getting it piecemeal throughout the whole thing. Fans like to make a big deal about how it was supposed to play, who's the fucking singer? There wasn't a Marilyn Manson song at the beginning. It was Black Magic by what's his nuts? Crooner guy. Fucking A, I apologize. Look at me. What is it? Failure to prepare means Joe's dumb.
Yeah,
that's
the thing.
Book of Book
of Buckley's.
Book of Buckley's. Okay, I apologize. At
Malevolent
the beginning,
movies too.
Motherfucker. I don't know. It's who's the fucking crooner guy? Frank Sinatra? It's like a Frank
Yeah,
Sinatra guy.
he's a big crooner. Yeah,
I would classify him as a crooner.
yeah, one
Yeah.
could
Oh
ascertain
yeah, Blair Witch
he's a
just started
crooner.
that Michael Bublé song.
Yeah.
So sorry with a Christmas song.
I'm making myself look foolish. It might be that old.
Oh no.
Saint Summer's back, bitch. What's up?
It's Saint
It
Spring.
might be that old Black Magic by Frank Sinatra, but it's a more
Yeah.
poppy, fun thing. And of course, which would set a different tone than Marilyn Manson's, dark, rock, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the long and short of it. Yes. Was the fan edit based on this guy's ideas better? Yes. Was it a great film? Absolutely not. Like, I just don't understand.
No,
Like,
no,
if
no,
people
no.
enjoy it for its campiness and all this stuff, that's fine. Like, I don't want to tear this out of anybody's arms. But
Yeah.
I'm not talking to the audience. I'm talking to you, Joe. And you're not even going to listen to this shit, which makes me even angrier.
And but Tyler, I want you to hold on before you get too
No, go
angry
ahead,
at
go
Joe. Understand, you aren't talking to Joe. You're talking to what Joe read.
Yeah.
You're
talking to
anytime Joe has an opinion on anything related to film, it is not his opinion, it is what he read. So Joe is regurgitating other fan theories. You know what I mean? So let's not even give Joe enough credit for this bad take. You know what I mean? Because it's not even his take. It's somebody else's take on the internet. And that's why I don't even give any of it credence. It's I don't want to be that guy. So I remember my first beer, but anytime Joe talks about anything that was filmed with a camera, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember my first beer. You're regurgitating shit most of us already know.
Yeah, I remember my first jar of pickle juice. So I will give this film some credit. I do like the idea of starting from a meta perspective, the phenomenon of the Blair Witch Project. I like that.
That was interesting.
I like switching up. For those who really deep cut know me, I'm a huge fan of a Canadian mockumentary called Fubar. They made a sequel for it 10, 12 years later, and it's not a mockumentary. There's a couple times where the guys talk to the camera, they completely break character, but it's shot just like a feature film. And it's the Gremlins 2 idea. You just go different. Just do something different because you can't replicate it. So I think I liked the incarnation of this idea, whether it came from the studio, one of the original scripts that they purchased, or from Joe. But it fell apart after the first 30 seconds. Once Roger Ebert showed up, that fat fuck. Sorry, that's a Joe cut.
But and we'll get into it. But I think there's a lot. That's the thing about this movie, and it's partly nostalgia because when the Blair Witch was, it was such a phenomenon, and it was and then the sequel was fast tracked, and everyone was excited about the sequel. And the fact that it was different than the first movie. There's a lot of good little kernels throughout. I liked the meta idea of the Blair Witch Project existed as a movie in this world, especially in 2000, because that wasn't something that was done, all the time. So it seemed cool. But yeah, it's one of those lot of cool little ideas here and there and some cool shots, but it's not a cohesive, storytelling exercise.
Needed some more time in the oven, unfortunately.
Yeah, it needed to be cooked a little longer.
There's an integral component to this story that I'll wait until we get to it, that I found very frustrating. But just to get a couple more bits of info out before we start, and I'm the one that launches us into this thing. But the director, Joe Berlinger. Sorry, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this. A part of the reason why he was interested in this project is because he did not like, I think ethically, morally, that they passed the original movie off as a documentary. He keeps he starts off by saying that really bothered him and upset him, and that's why he wanted to do this, because there is a component in this story about pointing out that it's problematic. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. He's frustrated at the idea, and he does make a good point initially. He's frustrated at the idea that you could create media that people would consume and believe, and no matter how many times you told them, no, sorry, it was fictional, it was for fun, they won't believe it. And he immediately launches into politicians, and I'm like, well, that's there's a little bit of that going on right now.
But isn't that the whole reason that it was popular? The movie, right? The first movie, the whole reason it got popular was because everyone was like, trust me, this is real.
Yeah. And
right?
but then he would go off and say, oh, but Sanchez and is it Merrick?
Dan Merrick.
Yeah,
I think it's Merrick and Eduardo
guys
Sanchez
behind the idea. He's like, oh, but it was a great idea, great concept. But fuck them, because my ethics are much higher than this. I'm a documentary filmmaker. You cannot do this. I would never take a documentary and pass it off as fiction.
No, of course not.
What I'm interested in, this commentary, was it from the DVD? Do you know it was recorded for the initial DVD release? I'd be interested to see
I don't know what release it is, but
I wonder how long ago he recorded this commentary, because it was much. Let's say he recorded in 2001.
He's very transparent, so I would be shocked if it was the initial release.
yeah, I'd be real interested to see when he recorded that and what he feels now.
Well, he makes reference to when he's going off on his thing about how like he doesn't like lying and that how that can create beliefs that aren't true and all that stuff. He talks about O.J. Simpson, and how like O.J. Simpson got off, was acquitted because he had good TV lawyers who were big into the media. And then he takes a big swing and he says, and then we burned down half of Los Angeles over 30 seconds of Rodney King. And I wasn't quite sure what he was getting at there, but like, it was a real big swing and a hot take. And so I just, this guy had an axe to grind. And I don't know if he thought, you know what? I'm not going to be a part of the machine. I'm going to get in the machine and I'm going to break the machine and I'm going to change the system from the inside out.
I'm going to build a new machine.
Yeah. Using the parts of the old machine.
I'm very smart and very funny.
Like I really wanted to sympathize with this guy because I appreciated the transparency, but like there was just he just took position on things. And one big thing in particular, I don't want to spoil it until we get to it in the movie, but it pissed me off. Just hearing him talk about it repeatedly throughout the whole fucking commentary. But anyways, I apologize. I am done. I am off my soapbox. Tyler, add the sound of me crashing through some wood. I'm off my soapbox and I'm farting.
Get back
now.
in that chair.
Well, it's good context, though. It's good context as we enter, the world of Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2.
Because there's just a lot here to talk about.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Are you guys
talk
ready
about
for
a
this?
disappointment?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. Here we go.
Ugh.
Artisan Entertainment. And I think it's Haxon Films. This is the production company by Sanchez and Myrick. Okay. Get some title or text cards. The following is a fictionalized reenactment of events that occurred after the release of the Blair Witch Project. It is based on public records, local Maryland TV broadcasts, and hundreds of hours of taped interviews. To protect the privacy of certain individuals, some names have been changed. And I think fictionalized reenactment was very important to our director. Anyways, summer 1991, loud ass fucking scream for no reason. Cut to MTV News' Kurt Loder, Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien, and Roger Ebert. They're all talking about this scary Blair Witch Project movie. We get some news inserts about the phenomenon of the Blair Witch release and how the city of Burkittsville has been overrun by curious film fans and full-blown idiots. We get an interview with Jeff, who he missed. He's talking to the camera. He's being interviewed for whatever documentary or the news. And he says he missed the original news release because he was in the hospital. And, really lingers on that one. That might be important here pretty soon. Or you would think later in the movie, but actually, don't wait too long. But we get some funny interviews from locals who are either okay with, uncomfortable with, or outright frustrated at the
One
fanfare.
lady selling rocks from her backyard.
Yeah, there's some good bits in it. And I like the lady talking
really
about her
funny.
makeup. And
I love it. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so
I always go out with a full face of makeup on now.
if anything, what would have been much better is an outright comedy film.
Yeah, I want Christopher Guest to make Blair Witch 2.
Yes. That would
if the movie would have been successful, we might have got that. We might have got, and not proper, not all the parodies like the Blair Witch Project and all that shit that came out afterwards.
That was at the tip of your tongue is upsetting.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of those, man. Look, come on, I know every fucking thing. Let's just get it out there. Of course I know what the Blair Witch Project is.
Yeah, I know what the bent over project is.
Yeah, if that existed, I'd have known about that too.
Sorry.
Oh man,
I'm just screaming over everybody. Anyways,
Joe's here with us.
Yeah, I know. I'm having a hard time without
This is cardboard sign that just says Witch Store.
Yeah,
I'm watching the beginning, the intro right now.
We cut to Sheriff Ronald Cravens. He's just standing in front of some woods next to his cruiser. He's got his little mic thing or walkie-talkie, whatever, hooked up to the intercom system in his car, speaker system. And he just says, everyone needs to get out of the woods and go home because there ain't no goddamn Blair Witch. So this guy's real kooky.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Again, okay, I don't want to... I'm not here to Henry Chinsky this guy. I'm not here to do that. But Joe talked so much about how everything was intentional, including the kind of campy nature of this sheriff. And it's like, you can't have it both ways, boys.
No.
You can't. You
He
can't
feels
have
so
this
out of
guy.
place.
Yes.
Yeah, he's doing his...
I wrote
Oh, no,
his
go
name
ahead.
as Cop Horn Leghorn because he feels like a cartoon character.
That's
Like
good.
Yeah.
everything he says is so drawn out. Like
now,
it's,
if
whoa,
this
what the
guy was
hell?
in like any other Malevolent movie we'd watch,
Excellent.
he would be the fan
oh,
favorite
yeah,
character.
absolutely.
Yep.
But he sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like you know, he said, hey, you ever seen any early Tommy Lee Jones? Give me early Tommy Lee Jones. Give me
Sure.
80s Tommy Lee Jones and just chew the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, we're not going to fix your teeth. It's perfect. The Cragley. I will say though, you know, his performance is over the top for this, but it was, I liked looking at him. He was a good character actor. He had the craggy face and the broken teeth, and you know, I didn't buy him as a sheriff. I would have bought him as one of the crazy locals selling rocks, but you know.
he feels like one of the gang members from Skin Deep.
Yeah.
Old folks
Yeah.
gang.
God, yeah.
Plates is hiding under his hat.
His
What do you
20
got,
gallon hat.
Yeah.
Quick amendment. It was Frank Sinatra's Witchcraft was the song.
Oh, that's
So
what they want. Okay.
I apologize. It took me a minute to find everything. Okay.
So was the idea that they would do like that? Because so a lot of times in the movie it cuts to just like rock music. Would they cut to like?
He didn't
Crooners.
talk. He didn't talk about. This was the opening music during the credits,
Okay.
and so
Okay.
like the.
South of the border.
Yeah, I don't know what his intentions were for the soundtrack throughout the film.
Okay.
I'm assuming no matter what, the way this was shot, the way the characters look, there was going to be some like 2000s or
Yeah.
late 90s
Oh,
grunge and
certainly,
rock.
yeah.
Like it was just going to be in there. So
There's some good shit on the soundtrack, though. There is some good shit on the soundtrack. Queens of the Stone Age, that's a classic.
oh my gosh. Have you guys ever heard of this small band called Nirvana?
Hey, just because you guys don't listen to rock doesn't deny the fact that it was a pretty solid soundtrack. It really was.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I'm listening to
Where's Sean at? He
I'm
needs to
listening
back
to
me up on
Alkaline
this.
Trio right
Ain't
now.
no
and
Sean
I'm
here,
cooking.
boy. You gotta go way down south to get your friend. You're in our
Way
country
down
now.
south. Come on, Sean.
All right, back to this news montage. We get a little bit more of Jeff, and he's basically just telling us, the audience, that he's a big fan of the Blair Witch. He likes the fame and fortune that's come to Burkittsville, and he believes. He is a believer. We get text card 1 year earlier. And we are unfortunately exposed to some fucking soap opera shots of a doctor lubing up and ramming a tube down Jeff's nose in the Burkitt County Psychiatric Center. This is one of the things that the director, they did a series of shoots after principal photography. And this is one of those things, most of the inserts, most of this stuff that looks pretty different from everything else you're seeing. This was later. And then there's this weird Tool light tribal music playing the whole time. It's very weird. A doctor force feeds Jeff some goo through a tube. He gets an injection, sprayed by a hose. He's slamming around a padded room and then hanging around a recreation space with other people. He slams his hand down on a table and he yells, "Enough! That's enough!" You know, text card, autumn 1999.
I will say real quick, though,
Oh, go
if you
ahead.
want to do a drinking game, anytime someone slams their hand down on a table, this happens. I kept noticing
Yes.
it happens quite a bit. There's interrogation scenes.
There's a big
where
one
people-
at the end. Ugh.
Yeah, where the guy just slams his hand down, but then doesn't say anything even. There's a lot of hand slamming. So if you wanted to turn this into a drinking game or something like that, one of the components would definitely be anytime someone just fucking slams their hand down on a table.
So yeah, we get this montage of him being, basically, bullied in a psychiatric facility, and then we get he slams his hand down, he screams, text card, autumn 1999, and then we hard cut to the credits. I don't know why you would ever, you don't need to tell me it's autumn 1999. I'm going to know it's autumn because we cut to a bunch of, like a tree line and a river. But
Yeah,
also,
a bunch of orange trees.
as soon as we come out of the credits, you give us another fucking date card that has the specific date of Monday, November 15th, 1999. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people. I don't know whose decision that was, but that was dumb. Anyways,
Yeah.
Blair Witch 2,
It
Book
was
of
no
Shadows.
one's decision. They probably didn't look at this again
Yeah.
because it was like a week and a half in the editing suite.
Yep.
Okay. Yep, we come out of the credits. It's Monday, November 15th, 1999, and Jeff is sitting in an interrogation room. The sheriff that we have come to know and love enters the room along with some unknown detective. I mean, at least I know he's a detective, but like you wouldn't know. And then the detective guy leaning in the background says, found blood in the van. And then boom, we're out.
They're both given the direction. All right, so we were doing bad cop, and this one took it real serious because the way he leans is so fucking lame.
Yeah.
It's so lame.
We found blood in the van. You're gonna fry, dog.
Yep.
But we cut to a camo
That's it.
van. It's rolling down the road. On the side, it says Blair Witch Hunt, tours by appointment only, www.blairwitch-hunt.com. And if you go there, it just has the Blair Witch symbol. I couldn't figure out if it did anything else. I tried to dig around. Feel free to play with that website at home.
Oh yeah, play along.
Is that website still up?
Yeah. I'm assuming they're
Really?
just keeping the domain in case they ever want to cash in on this shit again.
Well, I think I read that there is a fourth movie in development. So
Well, there you go. Everybody stay tuned. Check out blairwitch-hunt.com. But anyways, Jeff is driving the van. He has two passengers, a couple, Steven and Tristan. And Jeff does some exposition shtick where he grabs the intercom system in the van because it's a tour van. You know, he's going to talk about the Blair Witch thing. And basically, he's just telling the audience who his guests are and what they're there to do.
Classic Malevolent movies opening bit.
Yeah.
classic
It's
Shredder.
in
Shredder.
It's in Shredder. It's in The Nest. It's in Cheerleader Camp.
Yeah.
Or not in The Nest. I apologize. It's in Cheerleader Camp.
Steven, I don't know if they married or just boyfriend, girlfriend.
I think they're just dating.
I think they're just dating.
Steven, boyfriend, it's
They're
his
banging.
research he's doing for a book on the Blair Witch called The Blair Witch, Hysteria or History. And his stupid fucking girlfriend can't get it right.
Yeah.
Tristan, you idiot.
Jesus.
I hope something bad happens to her.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
Uncle
hold on. There's another
Harbor
person
Nathan.
sitting in the back seat. It's Erica, and you won't believe it, guys, but she might be some kind of Wiccan witch. And then Jeff immediately explains that to the audience because he does his truncated fucking shtick with the exposition explaining who she is. And then we get some ADR stuff as they're like doing hard cuts to get to the next place. And Jeff's explaining, hey, we got to stop at this graveyard because we got this other person who's going to join us on the tour. I was emailing with her, and we're going to pull up to this graveyard. I don't know why we're going to a graveyard. She's also some kind of psychic.
Spooky.
So the gang's walking through the graveyard, and lo and behold, somebody's laying on a gravestone, and I bet it's our kooky psychic. And guess what? It's Kim, and she's also kind of gothic.
I wrote her down as Thursday Addams because that's all I could think of when I saw her.
That's great.
That's very good.
Okay. She's laying on a gravestone. She's on a grave. I don't know what it is. She's not laying on the gravestone, but there's a gravestone, and then there's like a thing protruding out of the ground.
A grave plot. I don't know.
Yeah. A child's coffin. And she's laying there smoking a cigarette. And Jeff busts out his camera because, hey, he's going to start documenting. The film, or Joe, the director, said that essentially, and I got to say this for later because it's a spoiler. Technically, I'll save it for later. But anyways, he starts filming her. She's laying there, and then we get like this 1-2 punch of like kind of really good dialogue and then fucking awful dialogue. I just really like the line where Steven asks Kim what she's doing laying there, and she says, with like a lot of effort, I'm trying to find the energy. And then Tristan asks, from like inside the grave, because you're spooky. And she says, no, to stand up. I'm exhausted. I've been on the road for 2 days. And it's like, hey, like, that's a little snappy. That's kind of fun. Yeah. It fits the character and it's not in your face. But then Jeff leans in. He's like, hey, I got weed and I'm going to get beer. And she says, both now.
There's so many moments like that where it's really like first pass, kind of like, fucking, let's bang out this draft time. And there's just no time.
We gotta go back. They were writing and they were like, look, now the audience knows she's funny, but how do we make sure they know she's cool? And they're like, oh, well, cool people love weed. And it's like, but she's smoking a cigarette. Okay, fine, weed and beer. Like, it's like, we gotta let people know she's cool.
Well, is that even legal? Can you do both at the same time?
I don't know.
What if you mix them together? What if there's a little nicotine, a little weed?
Oh, shit. Man. Don't tell Joe about this.
You drop it in the beer, you soak it up. Try
The
that
last
one,
thing
Joe.
we need is him to start smoking. Christ
I
alive.
do want to say the director's initials are JB. Joe Buckley's initials are JB.
Yep.
You make
I don't like that.
of that what you will.
That's too close.
Joe
For me.
Bucklinger. I'm just gonna start calling him Bucklinger. It's easier.
They're buckling her.
Okay, we're back in the van. Jeff's doing his shtick some more. We learn it's the inaugural tour, much to the surprise of everybody in the van. They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. It says here that you have 10,000 satisfied customers. And he says, oh no, that's from my website, dude, my web shop. Everybody's buying like my fucking stick figure mugs and, finger poopers and
Dirt. He says he sells Blair dirt.
Oh yeah, Blair Witch dirt. But anyways, so long story short, it's the inaugural tour. He says something about like we're all virgins here or something like that. Some Joe line, some Bucklinger line, and then they pull up to like a gas station convenience store situation, like on the outskirts of town. And Steven's like, why didn't you go to the Safeway in town? And Jeff's like, ugh, Burkittsville? I don't shop there. I don't even piss there. Except he's a Burkittsville resident. So he drives out of town to take peepees and poo-poos. I don't quite know.
I guess so.
But that's the end of my first part.
He goes to the outer limits, the town limits, right there where the sign says you are now leaving Burkittsville. Don't be a stranger. And he just sits out and just fucking shits out a big toiler right there.
Sticks his ass over the line.
And he does it
county
constantly.
line.
Like there's just tons and tons of dried shit all around that sign.
God. Who's
So
next?
inside the store, we cut to a woman filling up an entire cart worth of Underwood's deviled ham spread. That
You
we
have-
had.
Hey, look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Eat it.
You have to eat it. You have to taste some of that.
This is Anna Claire likes this stuff. I do not.
Come on,
It's a real
Stick to
what
the
is
bit.
it?
Absolutely
Stick
not.
to the bit, Buckley.
No,
Oh.
this is not.
So
No, sir.
what is it? Just ham?
It's like a deviled ham. It's a spread. It's
Oh, it's
weird.
like a pate?
Yeah, actually. It's like cat food.
Oh, okay.
Human cat food.
But better tasting, I would hope. But they're in this weird little gas station convenience store or whatever. Kim is like, oh, what century are we in? And Jeff says, hey, don't dive into the gene pool. You'll crack your head. They're making fun of these people, these bumpkins. They buy
Buckleys.
some beer and establish that this next stop on the tour, or the first stop, I guess, is the ruins of Rustin Parr's house. Rustin Parr is, I assume, is a part of the first movie too. I can't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time. He's the guy who killed 7 kids back in the 40s. I couldn't remember if that is a big part in the first movie or not, or if it's just the 2016 one. Okay.
No, that's
Backing up
the
real
original. Because no,
this
go
is
ahead.
the
I was-
only Blair Witch thing that I had never seen before. I've seen the original a bunch of times. I saw the 2016 one. I kind of liked it. I even played that game that came out like a year or so back. But this is the only Blair Witch thing I hadn't. I even watched that weird Scooby-Doo crossover they aired on Adult Swim back in the day. That was weird. We rewatched that recently.
Well, the Rustin Parr thing was like he took the kids in the woods and he killed them by twos. And he made one stand in the corner when he killed one, and so that's why at the end of the first movie that scary shot at the end, which they kind of half-assed weirdly try to do again. This one, there's somebody standing in the corner. He would make them stand in the corner as he killed one of the kids, and then presumably then kill the other one. And that's like the big Rustin. That was like the big claim to fame. But then there's other spooky.
There's other
happenings.
stuff about it too. And that house at the end of the movie, or at the end of the first movie, is his house.
Yes,
he took the kids through the woods. I read his whole Blair Witch PD article today. But there's a whole backstory where he was like possessed by the witch. She said that the witch told him to kill these kids or whatever. It doesn't matter. He's a huge part of the Blair Witch mythos, and that is a big, the most well-known like landmark is going to be his house. Obviously the movie ended there, so that's where they're going to go camp and stay the night. Um, so they, oh my God. Oh yeah. He says, there's been reports of voices at night in the area. And Kim says, I hear voices all the time. And then we get, yeah. And then we get quick flashes of someone being like beaten to death or tied up or something. This is where that starts. I guess we saw a little bit in Tyler's portion, but it's weird at this point.
No, this is when it really kicks into high gear.
Yeah,
because sometimes it's literally like not even like a second of footage. It's just like, why?
This one here is you see somebody. You see it's I believe it's one of the tourists we see later. He gets hit in the head like once, and that's it.
Yeah, and like, hey, Bucklinger, I agree with you. The studio mandating that was bad.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, like, I'm questioning the studios, thinking now, like, Ryan, correct us, ancient one. Were audiences so stupid that a jump scare was as simple as a flash, a knife stab, and we're out?
Very well could be. I mean, this was 2000. This was before Hostel. This was before torture porn. These just flashes of gore, and then having it also look kind of like it was on video. Mm-hmm. I just think they were probably watched the movie and was probably one of these things like, we need more scares. So throw some gore in there, make it look like video. I mean, these are the kind of decisions when you read about other movies where they watch a movie and the studio comes up with some stupid, terrible idea. They're like, just throw it in there. We need more scares. And figure out how to do it. And that's what those shots feel like. And they're like, make sure it's grainy like videotape because it's Blair Witch. Yeah, it definitely feels like some sort of memo on a Monday morning from some guy who doesn't watch anything. But he's an executive, so you have to listen to him.
The director said Sanchez and Merrick didn't like his script. I mean, they weren't really involved in the production. So I don't know if they were even really producers or if they just kind of like hand waved and said, "Yep, fine."
Sure.
But he said that he talked with them like not even really once, and they didn't like it, like his concept, not necessarily the film itself. I don't know what they think of that.
So they park the van. Excuse me. Jeff is unpacking a bunch of his equipment, including a bunch of camera equipment in order to catch any supernatural shit that may or may not happen. Mm-hmm. They're hiking into the woods, and Kim asks Tristan how far along she is. Apparently Kim knows that she's pregnant. Tristan, so Kim asks if she wants to keep the kid. She said yes, but she knows Steven doesn't. Then Tristan asks Kim, how do you know this? And Kim just says, I don't know.
She's psychic, remember?
She's psychic.
Yeah, but that's it. Like,
but it is
there's
funny.
one line, she's probably psychic, and that's it.
It's brought up earlier that she's psychic, and then she's asked directly about it, and she doesn't say, I'm psychic, remember? Or it's just like, I don't know. Just kind of like this gift I have. It's like, oh, we're going to brush over superpowers in this movie. That's cool, I guess.
Oh my God, yeah. So they get to Rustin's house, and it looks, I've said it, Rustin's house looks like the wall that Charlie Brown leans on. It's not a house anymore. It's just like a stone wall that like comes up to your knees or your waist, maybe. And there's also a huge tree in the middle of the house that has never been there before. Jeff realizes this and starts freaking out, and everybody else, I think, assumes that he's playing it up to make this whole thing seem spooky, but he's like for real fucked up by this. Which is something that I honestly don't remember if they talk about it too much in this, but I know is a big part of the next movie. That like the woods change or something. Time is weird there.
Yeah,
there's dwarves in these hills, in these woods.
There's
You're
a
walking
scene
backwards and
coming
forwards.
up that is very interesting. It might be when like I start my spiel, but and I think it's in. I don't know whose part it is in. But it's a cool idea, and they should have done more of it along the lines of the forest changing and things.
Yeah. There's some cool stuff about that in the next movie, the better one.
Adam Weingart one,
It's not that great. Yeah, it's better than this, but it's still it's fine. Erica does some witch shit. Starts explaining about karma, but Tristan and Erica are hanging out in the woods. But Tristan wants to know what she's really doing. And Erica says that she's trying to talk to Ellie Kedward, who was a good witch, an earth child like her.
And this was one of the things that bothered me about Bucklinger. He talked about how, like, you know, Wiccans and witches, they're like just kind of like regular people, and like they just kind of like to live and like earth stuff and all this stuff. And he's like, that's why I felt it was really important in this movie to get across a message that they're, you know, kind of like fucking weird people that go and they get their knives out and they touch themselves and they rip their clothes off and they dance around naked. And it's like, he was trying to make it sound like, you know, I'm a champion of these Wiccans. And it's like, no, you're fucking not.
Like, did you watch your own movie? She's the bad guy. Like, what the fuck?
Well, and also, like,
it
rude. Makes Wiccans out to be like vegetarians. How it's like, if you'd be like, hey, how are you today? Well, I'm a vegetarian. Okay, that's how she is. This whole movie.
Do you think I think?
She
I
won't
am.
shut up. Oh, American. Oh, the great American pastime, picking on Wiccans. Shut up. No one gives a shit about you. Like, it's so annoying.
Get hot, Zach. Get hot.
Yeah. It's like that. Yeah. And then
Zach
she does
always
this.
needs a punching bag.
Yeah.
Here, watch out, Wiccans.
Come here, witches. Woo.
I didn't know you were so anti-Wiccan, Zach.
Witch Hunter Shaw over here. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
100% American, which means I'm 100% Wiccan. 100% against Wiccan.
Against Wiccan.
Sorry.
But she does this really obnoxious little thing, you know, where she wants to pull a twig or something off the tree or pull something out of the ground to fucking clover. I don't know what
it's coming up. It's a leaf.
And she goes, may I guess she asked the woods or some invisible thing. She's like, hey, may I take this? She plucks the little thing. Thank you. I fucking hate that. Yeah. I cringe. That's my least favorite thing. In a movie with a lot of bad shit, that's my least favorite moment.
That's the one where he
that's the one that just, I'm like,
So, anyways, yeah, she wants to talk to Ellie Kedward. Also, Ellie Kedward is another figure like Rustin Parr, who's a part of the Blair Witch history. She was a witch back in the day, 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, I don't know, a long time ago, who was like killed because she was like Salem witch trials type shit. Basically that kind of story with her. Then she, I believe, is the titular witch from then on. I think it's her that you see in the 2016 movie very briefly, which is another whole nother conversation.
They made such a big deal. You're actually going to see the Blair Witch in this one. And it was like,
I saw those couple of frames of her. That was pretty cool, I guess. So Tristan is like, oh, we actually found a picture of her. And she pulls out this like sketch from the 250 years ago. And they explain that she was dragged into the woods, tied to a tree, and died. And tortured a little bit in there as well, as we'll find out later. Jeff explains all of his camera shit to Tristan. Tristan is just hopping from person to person.
Yeah.
She was just the most available, I assume, because there's a lot of scenes with Tristan and one other person in this movie. And here's another one. Jeff explains all of his camera shit to Tristan. And then we get a quick montage of everybody just kind of fucking around. Like, Steven is flipping through what I assume to be his research. Kim is drinking beers. Jeff is playing around with his lenses and shit. And then it jump cuts to them around the campfire for some more bullshitting. And these are like very quick snippets. And here's some things that they talked about around the campfire. Erica talks about how crazy it is that they never fucked in that tent in the first movie.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think that's crazy at all.
Yeah, it's like
that's what we were all thinking, Ryan. We were all thinking that.
Yeah.
No rebuttal there.
Ryan just realized how horny he was.
No, I was actually just flashing back. There's a scene in the first movie where after they're really scared, the one guy, Josh, the Joshua character, he says something about, I just want a piece of ass and some weed, or I just want some food and a piece of ass. And they all kind of go, yeah, wouldn't that be great? It's a little bit of a cringy moment in the first Blair Witch. It just now flashed on it when you brought that up.
There you go.
But they're all dirty and stinky and... No,
yeah, I mean, they've been on the woods for like
nasty. Yeah, I never
weeks.
thought... Yeah, I never thought like, they should be banging. No. There's a fucking witch out there. There's monsters. Come on.
All this talk of banging makes Jeff want to bang the witch now. Steven starts talking about the Bermuda Triangle, how it's all like fucked up, man. Like the Bermuda Triangle, man. Hey, man, the Bermuda Triangle is like the only place on Earth that's been created by our fucking fear, man. By our thoughts, man. They do that for a bit. Then another flash. Erica doesn't kill kids. She's a witch. She does not killing kids or stuff. She doesn't even believe in the devil. She believes in nature. To which Kim then says, I hate nature. Another cut, and Steven is still just wigging out. I don't like Steven, really.
No.
Jeff, then Jeff starts, he's still trying to hit on Erica. He said, I want to make a film, Wicca, a way of life. And then it cuts, and then now he's talking to Kim. Goth, a way of life. A documentary all about Kim. All real, all video. Video never lies, Kim. Film does, though, and it cuts back. I
wish you would have went to Tristan and be like, stick in the mud, a way of life.
Yeah. Pregnant late moms, a way of life.
Basic, a way of life.
Yeah. So, yeah, Steven and Tristan are then talking about the perception of reality, man. And then, thank Christ, some plot happens. They hear screams in the woods. This is when they find the other tour group, the Blair Witch group. It's another group like Jeff. It's like, I think one or two guys with some cameras and shit, and they say they have a permit from the sheriff, apparently. And Steven cooks up this plan where he's like, hey, we saw something pretty fucked up. Just give us till dawn. And everybody plays into it like, oh my God, yeah, we saw this crazy shit at Coffin Rock. Oh God, we're so scared. Just let us sleep. I want to go home. And then they're the other group's like actual tour group is like, oh shit, yeah, we got to go see it. Hey, take us to the scary thing. So the other group is like, all right, fine. This I loved. I thought this was wonderful. And so they fuck off to Coffin Rock, and then everybody else, Jeff and the gang, gets real excited about staying up all night. They just continue to drink and smoke weed and stay up all night, like cool kids do. This is where we learn that Erica's dad, allegedly, is a preacher in Munnsville, Illinois, who has disowned her for being a Wicca or Wiccan. And then we just get more shots of them getting super duper mega wasted. And that's the end of my bit here.
Oh yeah, they just such a
continue
dope
to
montage.
Get fucked up.
Oh yeah. So
hold on.
Yeah,
just that montage is incredibly important to the plot of this movie, but you would never know that. You would never understand that. You would never call back to it and be like, oh yeah. Like,
oh yeah, I fully checked out the first time I watched this. I was
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Whatever. They're just fucking around for like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
sorry,
that's fine. I just wrote partying real big because they're just it's partying, it's drinking, it's drugging, it's.
Or is it really?
Well, maybe that was some spooky business. Maybe that. I don't want to blow the wad quite yet. Now,
right.
When you this scene, the studio made him blow the wad. Okay.
Yeah, blow your canned ham, Trevor. Squeeze it till it squirts.
Guys, I'm sorry. What? It's actually chicken spread. I apologize.
Oh no, you fucking liar!
I can't even buy the right product. I'm just kidding. We just had it.
Trevor got the Blair Witch 2 of canned ham.
I think Trevor is the Blair Witch. Do we know this?
What if
Maybe
Trevor thought
the
it
Blair
was
Witch.
ham? Yeah, Trevor thought it was ham until just this moment, and now he's being confronted with the reality.
He's a demon. He can turn ham into chicken.
Perception of reality is all fucked up, man.
Oh my God, I've been stabbed 20 times.
Now I'll tell you, boy, that was chicken the whole damn time. Copland's here.
Ever since you've been 10 years old, you've been trying to sell chicken, but it's really been fucking ham. That's why.
We found traces of chicken all over the inside of your van. Just full van.
Found chicken in that van.
Found it. Go ahead. Your joke's better.
No, it cuts to him on that bed, and they're pouring that shit down his nose. It's just pate. Fucking just drooling out.
That's awful. Christ. Enough.
That's why he's foaming at the mouth.
No, he just slams his hands down. I need crackers.
Yeah. I need something to break it up. Christ. A different texture, please.
But speaking of breaking it up, we get a montage, a party montage. Could have been out of any movie. This could have been a horror movie, a comedy.
Oh,
it
it's
doesn't
like
matter.
American Pie.
You've seen exactly. It's American Pie in the woods. It's just partying, drinking.
It's like
it's a
like
montage.
the party they go to in American Pie too.
Yeah,
on the beach.
And intercut with scenes of violence, more scenes of violence, people getting hit in the head and just stabbing torsos and stuff. I will say during this montage there is one shot that I do like. It's Kim. She's kind of just chilling, laying down on the ground.
Is that when she's looking in the camera?
Yeah, she's looking into the camera, but it cuts to this really fucking weird owl that was made by K&B. I think that's the only thing K&B did on this movie because there really is nothing else in terms of makeup or gore or anything. But they made that owl, and the owls just owls creep me out in general, actually. But it's just a real creepy, quick shot. It's staring at her. She's staring at it.
Was not happy with that owl.
He didn't like the fucking owl. That owl was cool as hell.
No, he said it looked like he didn't. He didn't say it looked like shit, but he was saying it looked like shit. So he wasn't happy with it because he talked about how hard it was to edit around it to try and get it in and out of the shot as fast as possible.
Oh well, this is where he and I part ways. I disagree. I think I don't think the owl looks real, but I think that's what adds to the creepiness of it. It's because it's staring down. I don't know. It's one of the few shots in the movie that I legit like quite a bit.
I have to disagree with you, Ryan, because I think the owl would have been much scarier if it had a bowl cut and it was cross-eyed.
Same, actually.
And it was just spraying mud all over an old elm.
Old elm.
Specifically an old elm.
Yeah.
The old Buckley family tree.
They chew their initials in there every summer.
They're actually birthed out of trees like Urukai.
Yes.
And just as slimy, but not as
You
muscular.
didn't like this owl? I just pulled this owl up. Hey, fuck you, Joe.
The owl's
whatever.
creepy as hell.
You're
Yeah.
wrong. This owl looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't agree with Ryan that it's creepy.
You don't think it's creepy with the eyes?
Nah.
But again, I'm creeped out by owls in general.
Well,
I don't. There's something about them.
That's a good looking owl. Shit, that's better than anything else in this movie.
They'll pick a cat, run off and eat it.
Anyway.
All right. Yeah. Then we get shots of violence. Like I said. Party montage. Not a lot. You've seen it before. Fades out. We fade in, and it's morning, and we see Tristan. She's by herself. She's holding like a little bundle, like a little group of towels in her hands, and she goes down into the water, into the stream. She pushes down the towels into the water, and we see blood start bubbling up from these towels, and then we hear a baby cry, and we see a baby foot start to protrude out of the water.
Oh my god!
Boom! It's a dream. Blair Witch is going to get you with at least one fake out. This movie's not going to get away without at least one fake out dream, and that's our fake out dream.
The director does not he never once says dream. He calls them visions.
I was just going to make a joke. What does he call them, visions?
He's a Wiccan, isn't he?
Well, okay, so I'll just launch into it. His major frustration with the studio edits is that in his mind, it takes the ambiguity away from the overall plot device. I don't know what to call it. And he talks about it in a way that like his vision, his original vision was so, I'm using hyperbole and I apologize. I'm not trying to be an asshole. His vision was so pure that the ambiguity was, you were going to ride that ambiguity wave throughout the whole fucking movie where you don't really know what's going on until the very, very end. And then you get the truth. And I'm sorry, that's a bad fucking idea because I don't want to spend a whole movie with people that don't know what's going on. And then just in the last 10 minutes, it's like, here's what really happened, kids.
That sounds like Joe trying to make a David Lynch style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Trevor.
Because like, I get it. I get what he's trying to say, but dude, you didn't have that idea. Your idea doesn't hold weight like that. Those movies barely work when people that kind of know how to make them.
Well, that's the ending of Psycho.
They barely hang together then, dude.
That's Psycho.
Shut the fuck up and make your Blair Witch movie.
Yeah,
for Christ's
the guy
sake,
comes out and
get your
explains
fucking
everything to the audience.
Get your check. You're making the Blair Witch too, for Christ's sake. This is the easiest fucking movie to make. Go in the woods.
Yeah, it was money in the
We could make
bank.
this.
I know.
Well,
It was money in the bank, and they still destroyed the franchise for like 14 years.
yeah, like I don't disagree. The intercutting of violence is dumb, and
It's horrible.
in the party montage scene, it does just give shit away. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Like is the underscoring message here that, like, gosh, guys, anywhere, even in the woods, you can't escape senseless violence. Like,
Especially in the woods.
We don't need to be reminded of that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a pre 9/11 movie.
ooh, was this pre-Columbine?
No,
no.
that was like
April 20th, 1999.
Yeah, it was.
That's
yesterday
after
was
the Matrix.
Guys, we were
Yeah, yesterday was
post-Columbine.
the,
Things changed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yesterday was the anniversary of that. Oof.
Yeah.
Yikes. That sucks.
Oh God, things just got dark.
Blair
Ryan,
Witch
save us.
too.
Oh, Ryan, we're talking about Columbine, and Joe's not even here.
So yeah, she drowns what looks like a fetus. But then she wakes up.
Back to the lighthearted fun we love.
That was where we left it. I mean, what can I tell you? That's the scene we left it on. But it's a dream. It's okay, everybody. It's a
man.
dream or a vision. It's a vision.
God
According
damn
to
it,
Bucklinger.
Ryan. That was good.
Oof.
Got me real good.
So I got snow. Oh yeah, of course. All right, so
Oh yeah.
Tristan wakes up. She's in Steven's arms. It's morning. They're asleep. She had a weird vision, dream, whatever. But everybody starts waking up because they are being just covered in like a ticker tape parade or confetti, or it's just like it looks like snow. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade got lost. It is November 15th. They were out practicing.
Oh, that's true.
we took a left at Kedward's grave. But no, it's I couldn't think of Rustin Parr. Fuck it. Now I can't. It starts snowing. It looks like snow, but it's paper. It's shredded fucking paper, and tons of it. Where is it coming from? The sky? It's just swirling around them, but they all wake up. And they start finding other weird things. They find that the camera equipment is missing or destroyed. Kim even comments that it looks like it's been chewed on. She holds a piece of a tripod. It doesn't look like it's been broken. It looks like it's been chewed upon.
In principle, I love what's happening here. And,
Yes.
and the director goes on to explain why he found it effective, and I agree with him, is that these characters wake up to what a snowstorm of paper, but they don't talk about that. They don't address that that's happening. They start talking about everything else around them. And just to here's the spoilers. His concept here is that everything shot on 35 millimeter, the cinematic parts of this movie, the non-handycam stuff, is the lies. This is the lie to you, and everything that's on the camcorder is the truth. Fine, whatever. I don't give a shit. But you should have done more of this, where the shit gets weird, and because in his mind is that they can't focus on the paper storm. Because they don't really understand what's happening anyways. They're buying into the reality of the moment. So this is just the way it just snows paper sometime, and that's what happens. And I like that idea. Like the forest changing. Just do more of that. But no, we have to go hang out in a fucking warehouse.
That's the problem in all of these movies. In every Blair Witch, in the 3 Blair Witch movies,
in
that there
all
are,
800.
Yeah, they never go. There's one really weird thing in it.
Yeah,
and they need more of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's more in the 3rd movie, but barely.
Yeah,
it's one thing more times. It's the forest is actively changing, and you see it happen many times.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love that.
They realize, they wake up and they realize what the fuck's going on. All their stuff is destroyed. The tapes are missing. And then Steven and Tristan realize that the shit floating in the air is their work, their notes, because they've been making this documentary about folklore and Blair Witch and everything. And Steven, okay. And again, I'm not saying they didn't do a ton of work, but if this was supposed to be 8 months after the Blair Witch Project movie came out, how much fucking folklore practice, this is kind of a whim that Steven and Tristan are doing here. But maybe they're putting the Blair Witch phenomenon or movie, whatever, as part of their overarching folklore studies. I don't know, but Steven takes it fucking hard.
Well,
He
but
takes
also,
it hard.
maybe they should have planned like a visit to the Blair Witch Woods a little bit further away from the deadline for the like they're like it's due next month or something like that. And it's like, maybe you waited way too long to get into Burkittsville.
Well,
here.
and they
I
go
don't know what to tell you.
They get into the nitty gritty of, well, don't worry, it's backed up on the computers. You know those are just notes. You know those are just notes.
And all it says on his computer is, this is going to be a good book, signed Steven.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he has saved.
All
on the
Blair and no witch makes Steven stupid as fuck.
Dear Steven, make sure to back this up when you come back from your trip. Love, Steven.
Love Steven.
Yes, can't wait to be a dad.
That's more character depth than the character actually has.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Steven's terrible. Steven's terrible. Terrible character.
I will say, there are a couple
Performance
moments
isn't
in,
bad,
the
but the character
in his
sucks.
interrogation that I'm like, you know what? This guy's really trying. He's really trying.
Oh, no. And I'll get to that later. I don't think the performances overall are terrible.
No.
I think Steven does a good job. I just mean the character is just a bastard.
He's the wet blanket of the bunch. He's the wet deceased fetus blanket of the bunch.
Oh, the red blanket.
Oh, God. So is that a new Malevolent Movies thing now? Whenever somebody brings the mood down, ooh,
it's the red blanket.
Yeah, instead of being the wet blanket, you're the red blanket. It's when you bring up
the red blanket over the room.
The Blair Witch Project.
Do not explain this bit to Joe.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
We just got
Joe just whipped out the red blanket, guys. Everybody.
We got to clue in Sean and Nick, but not Joe.
Yeah.
So yeah, we find out it's the paper is Tristan and Steven's work. They realize, well, what happened? We must have blacked out. They were partying so hard, and they can't remember what happened. The last thing they remember is the other tour group that came in. So of course they're like, well, they must have done it. They must have came and decided to destroy all our shit while we were passed out.
And that's what makes the snow thing so much better, is they're not saying they're up the hill tearing up our manuscripts and throwing them. It has nothing to do with the paper. And that's what makes it so interesting, because you, the audience, know it's not them. It's not them because this weird thing is happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're doing all that. They're kind of hysterical. And then Kim says, well, at least the tapes are still here. In my mind, I see them. And, they're like, you fucking stupid, whatever.
Trevor just made me giggle. He looked right into our brains.
In my mind, I see them.
But you know what? She's fucking dead right, because the tapes are indeed buried. They're under some rocks and some planks of wood, and they're all bundled together.
But why would they be there, Ryan? If they took everything and smashed everything else, why would they bury the tapes? Does it have something to do with the video not lying?
And the tapes are buried in the first
film
movie.
does, though.
So they're also trying to tie it's like Berlinger, I get it. You're trying to tie it together because this is a franchise. It's a franchise. I get it.
Yeah, that.
But yeah, the tapes are there. But the funny thing is, he pulls the tapes out. Are those the tapes? Are those your tapes? He's like, these are my fucking tapes. Are those your tapes? They keep asking, are those your tapes? He's like, fucking yeah. And while they're all starting arguing about, are those the tapes or not, Tristan's like, I don't feel good, guys. I want to get out of here. I don't feel good. And then we see, in the front of her pants, there's a little red spot growing, spreading. And while they're still arguing, finally, I don't know, one of them kind of glances at her, and they notice that she puts her hand, and I thought this was fairly effective and kind of gross, and she puts her hand to her mouth in like terror and kind of, smears her hand across her mouth, and when she does, she smears blood because she's been bleeding on her hands. What? I thought it was a creepy, horrifying shot if you think about the real context of it.
Right.
But so, boom, of course, everyone stops their arguing, and they're, okay, here's a real world problem right here. We need to get her to the hospital. Cut to, they're taking her to the hospital. They're flying in his van, but then we cut back and forth to various things. But basically, we cut to the fact that they're in the hospital waiting room, and the detective is there. He's, we found the blood in the back of your van. And Jeff's like, yeah, it was Tristan's blood. We took her here because she was having what turns out to be a miscarriage. That's when the really lays it on thick. The sheriff gets in his face. You've been a pain in the ass since you were 10 years old.
We get a really good close up of the sheriff, and he looks worse than Colin Farrell in the Batman. Like, he looks somehow less convincing as a real human being than the Penguin maker. It's phenomenal.
There are so many divots in this fucking guy's face that if you could collect all the missing skin from those goddamn divots, you could have a new face.
Yeah. It's fucking, he's terrifying. He looks like
It's like
fake.
He's kind of
Midwest.
He's like if Ron Perlman and Danny Trejo made a baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. What an ugly child.
Yeah.
I mean, his teeth are all fucked up too.
Yeah, he's got missing like in the front,
He's got
there's like a big
chips.
chip missing. Like
That's
just
no
bit
good.
down on.
He
I'll
had a
bit
really
down
hard
on a
ruffle.
piece.
Your central
that-
anteriors are all chipped there, sir. I'm in the tooth business now, so I know
Trevor's
these
a tooth
things.
guy now.
That's
I
right.
like the Trevor's the tooth guy. But so yeah, he says the last thing you need is to end up back in the loony bin. And then we're like, oh yeah, the loony bin. Remember that? Because we've been getting shots
How
of
could
him
you
and
forget?
puking a different haircut.
Yeah.
And while all this is going on, Erica's sitting on the fucking floor playing with her tarot cards. Because she's a Wiccan, but she also is into tarot.
Bucklinger,
Is that a Wiccan
make sure
thing?
you remind
or-
the audience because they're stupid as shit. Make sure to remind them that she's a witch.
But I don't think that tarot card is specifically just a Wiccan thing. I thought tarot cards were just more of a. So they're kind of just throwing everything at the fucking wall with Erica. They're like, well, she's, she prays to the trees, and she also does tarot card readings.
Yeah, because that's all Bucklinger believes
silly.
or knows. He's not for a documentarian. He ain't doing a lot of research on these witches.
No,
but you know what would have been great? A way better message in a clearer, more concise manner is what if this group of people, let's say they were a group of friends going out to see the Blair Witch thing, they want to get hooked up with the phenomenon, and they go to their one witch friend and they're like, you would love this shit, and they're like, fuck you, no, and they don't go. Like, boom, there you go. We're done with the witch thing. But then we have to address the Blair angle of the whole thing.
Well,
Sorry, that was a bad joke. You know what? I'm going to go to the bathroom on that note, so I'll see you.
All right, so yeah, Jeff also asks Kim how Tristan is, and she's and she's like, because Kim walks in, oh, she lost the baby. Then we cut to Tristan in bed, and there's this nurse who coldly tells her that, it was for the best. Your body was telling you something was wrong. Tristan says something was wrong. But I think this was interesting because the nurse that's standing at the bed, her clothing and her hair suggests the 1940s.
Right.
And the 1940s was when the Rustin Parr thing happened.
yeah.
So, it adds to that. Is that really happening? Is Tristan starting to become possessed by the witch at that point? Is there no nurse there at all? I don't know. But I think it was deliberate, the clothing and hairstyle of this very cold nurse. But it's never revisited again. Although, after Tristan does say something was wrong, we get a very nostalgic-filled, straight out of 1999, 2000, 2001, herky-jerky ghost walking backwards. You've seen it in every movie from that time period. Yeah, it's like, oh, we are in the 2000s. And we should
the first but not the last of this movie.
And we also, Berlinger, this movie was co-written, and maybe it was one of the early drafts, by Dick Beebe, who the year previous had written the House on Haunted Hill remake, which had a lot of that stuff too. So the rest of this movie kind of turns into a haunted house movie, and I wonder how much influence came from this guy. But anyway, we get a scary shot of a drowned girl walking backwards, which will come back. It actually comes back later, toward the end. Then we get more shots of violence, and now we can really see that it is the tourist group. It was the people from the other tourist group. They're getting stabbed. Guy gets a bottle smashed over his skull. And then Steven shows up. Tristan says, I'm not staying here. And that's the end of my section. Or the first section.
It's great, Ryan.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
And then the red blanket.
Brown blanket.
Well, after it was in the back of the truck a while.
So we get our shining moment, our shining shot. We get the tracking shot, the drone shot.
Yeah, it's a ripoff.
The whole thing is a ripoff. And the van's driving through the woods, and we get some voiceover, and Jeff's like, hey, let's go back to my place. I got some cool editing equipment we could check out. Like, I like Jeff most of the time. I hate that he's just like cool editing equipment. Just say editing equipment. Like it just sounded so everything.
Yeah, we know it's cool.
Yeah, we know it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, don't worry, we'll crack into these tapes. And my thought here was like, what if they got back and they weren't his tapes? They were just like a bunch of copies of Caddyshack or something. That's
Caddyshack
where
2,
Betamax.
even worse.
Yeah, you know. But like, so they head back and they arrive at an abandoned warehouse. And the others are in disbelief. They're like, hey, you said we were going to your house, Jeff. And he's like, this is my house. It's a big factory. They closed after the Civil War, and they were gonna tear it down, but they sold it to me for $1, which is like,
I'm sorry. I know that this was kind of a thing in like the late 90s, 2000s, but this idea that this fucking Jamook would own a property that large, there's a lot going on in there. So I'm not saying it's clean. There's a lot of stuff around, but it's not dirty. It's lofty. At no point is anybody shivering. So clearly he can afford the massive heating bills.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of electricity.
This whole thing of a shithead buying essentially an abandoned factory for $1 is also a B plot on an episode of The Simpsons. Where Bart buys the factory and hires Milhouse as the. Oh yeah, I saw it. First, it started falling over. Then it fell over, and the whole thing fucking collapsed.
So you're saying that Joe Berlinger is a joke thief?
So you're saying what I'm saying is that Joe Bucklinger stole this bit from The Simpsons. Yes, not really, but maybe, I don't know. It definitely had aired before 1999. That episode.
But also, like, so he says that this was like it was closed out after the Civil War.
Yeah, how old is this man?
This building could not have been. There's no way that this
first brick building. It was made well. It
like
was
those
American
windows
made.
And everything. My God. But yeah, it's got electricity and everything.
Right.
Like,
I want.
Or he just skipped another 200 years of history. Yeah, it was shut down in the Civil War.
And then they
reopened it up in 1905.
You know what? That would be funnier if you weren't so focused on this massive estate that he's living on.
It's huge.
If he pulled up to some shitty apartment and said, "Yep, I got this place after it was abandoned for 200 years after the Civil War," like that's just funny then.
Yeah.
But this is just confusing. But Ryan, please take the reins here. Go on your haunted house rant, please.
Film lies.
Oh, well, yeah, the rest of this movie kind of just plays out like a haunted house. The rest of the movie, they're just in this compound and they see scary things and hear weird things that aren't there, and knocks on the door that they open the door and those people aren't there, or they look out the door and the bridge is gone.
We're at minute 30. We're at minute 30 of an hour and probably 25-minute movie without credits.
The rest of the movie doesn't really involve any scary stuff in the woods. It's now everything that's going to happen is in this compound.
Yeah. Yeah. And this
Which
compound
sucks.
It does. It really does.
This sucks. This is Blair Witch. Get outside. God damn it.
I know.
What y'all doing inside?
So they decide to head inside, and he's like, hey, leave the stuff in there. We got to get Tristan inside. And then I do like that. I like the little joke. It's, he's like, don't worry, this bridge is pretty sturdy. And then someone like immediately touches the railing. He's like, well, hold on, don't touch the railing. Like, let's just walk across the bridge here.
I apologize. You may have covered this, and I'm trying to remember from my many viewings of this movie.
Yes.
I know there's a point where the sheriff says, "You motherfucker, you don't leave this county until I say you do."
That's later.
Okay,
that's later. It's not even.
So why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Why are Steven and Kristen
look through the tapes? Because he's got some cool editing. Cool editing equipment here.
Because they want to get to the bottom of everything that happened. They're still like, what the fuck happened to us? Or destroyed all our shit. I mean,
Erica and Kim don't need to be there. Steven, I can understand because he's so upset about the thing.
They could also just like talk on the phone later. Yeah. He's got like a phone for conference calls. They could leave and call him later.
He does have a phone for conference calls.
Which is just a weird thing that he has.
And the witch uses it. The witch fucking uses it later on. Don't forget there's nobody there. The witch uses speakerphone.
Mr. Peterson, the Blair Witch is on the line.
I want a prequel where the witch is just discovering this technology, like fucking hey, look at this with the cameras and trying to figure out witchy ways that I could use the camera. And imagine, now with fucking Facebook, you get a friend request from the Blair Witch.
Festicool out of this.
Yeah,
Blair Witch.
The Slenderman movie kind of did that.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
I'm friends with the Blair Witch. We go way back.
Great witch.
Very good friends.
Great Blair.
The best witch, scariest witch you've ever seen. Most powerful
Understands
spells.
property value.
Incantations out of this world. Out of this world. Incredible incantations.
So they keep walking
Come on,
towards the
Zach.
house.
Get this thing moving, you idiot.
All right, so we're walking
Zach,
towards the
pick up
house.
the pace.
And there is a moment
Christ.
here. This happens a couple times. Like as they're walking to the house, this time Erica, she like looks down and notes there's not that much water rushing underneath this. They hope no one falls down there. Spoiler, no one does, right?
Yeah.
No,
Like-
somebody almost does.
Almost, but nobody actually falls. So then we cut to an interrogation where Cophorn Leghorn and I actually originally wrote it as Ron White from the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. But Cophorn Leghorn says he'd bet his entire pension that the blood in the van matches those tourists. Jeff's like, you've been trying to pin stuff on me since I was a kid. Murder? Like, have they been trying to pin murder on you since you were a boy? That's a problem.
That's a problem. Fuck that.
Like,
They just didn't like him.
Every time-
I never took to him. I just didn't like him.
Can you imagine every time someone dies in Burkittsville, they're just like, it was that dang Jeff. You know, what happened? Cardiac arrest. Jeff did it.
So there,
Well, you know, Jeff has to check the obits
every day of his life.
He has to check the obits every day because he's like, fuck, how busy is it going to be for me today?
Yeah.
How many knocks on the door is Cophorn Leghorn going to give me?
hold on 1 second. There is a title, or I don't know, what do you call it, a title card or a text card? What would you call that?
Wait,
what
what
is
is it exactly?
Like at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah. Sorry,
Like a disclaimer?
I have to dive down
Like a super?
Mr. Buckley's
Oh, boy.
bullshit plex, because there is a text card at the beginning of the fan edit, the recut. Oh, sorry, that it's about Jeff.
It says Jeff did 9/11. Is that what it says?
No,
Jeff
that would've
melted
been
steel
funny.
beams.
Sorry, I'm almost there. Oh God, Joe's fucking shit ass internet.
I can't watch anything on his Plex.
And I don't
slow.
think Joey didn't watch this fan edit.
He didn't.
No.
He told me he didn't. And Joe, I don't
And
think
it's
Joe has
also-
seen the Blair Witch, has he?
Probably not.
I mean,
The original?
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he did, unless he did because he knows that it's, you know.
Well,
I feel like that's maybe one that he has seen. It's big
Maybe.
enough. And it's been out long enough.
Maybe he watched it when he was younger, but he probably would.
That's what I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, he saw it before he, found the internet.
Okay, so here's the text cards at the beginning of this thing. On July 30th, 1999, the Blair Witch Project was released nationwide. In a matter of weeks, became the most profitable, talked about independent film to date.
Woo.
Let's keep moving here. Get to Jeff.
Jeffrey.
Okay, up. Oh, sorry. It's doing the news thing. God damn it. Long story short, it says something about Jeff having stolen a baby when he was 18 years old. This film was sold as a real documentary, but it was later proven to be a work of fiction. Nonetheless, the fans were still drawn to the supposedly real legend that inspired the film, because it gives him his last name. It says Jeff Peterson, something, something, something. He stole like an infant. Oh, fuck this shit. I'm sorry.
And this is who came up with this
that is
idea?
part of
Fans?
that's part of the Rustin Parr thing, actually, too. His
Oh,
whole
okay.
backstory, it was like his mother kidnapped a baby and sacrificed it in order to, because she couldn't have children. And then all of a sudden she's pregnant with Rustin and a twin of his. The twin
Dustin.
is a crazy rambunctious
here it is.
kid, yada, yada, yada.
In 1990,
Yeah.
Burkittsville resident Jeff Patterson, sorry, not Peterson,
There.
Patterson, 17, kidnapped an 11-month-old infant from his neighbors and carried it with him into the woods. Patterson returned the child unharmed and claimed to authorities that voices told him to do so, and those voices had said, the younger the child, the sweeter the flesh. So,
Delicious.
yeah.
Is that how he ended up in the hospital then?
I would imagine.
Is that what that's
this
supposed
this
to fill
was
in?
in 1990, so this was before the events
that's
of...
another, yeah.
Oh,
what
sorry.
the
But
But all of
Patterson,
this-
there's more. Patterson was diagnosed
Oh.
with schizophrenia and possible paranoia. At almost 18 years of age, he was committed to Shelter Glen Asylum, where he received reoccurring inpatient care until August 1999, when he was formally released. So he was. This is the fan edit. I don't know where the fan got this information that they thought that this was the right thing to do. You don't see any of that psych stuff really in this cut. So it's like you don't question it because it's not like you see other things. But yeah, so I don't know. Why am I even talking about this? Something about Jeff.
Yeah.
Something kooky
but the
about
problem
Jeff.
is the problem with all of the
Cop Horn pinning everything on him.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
Why
yes,
he
yes.
always hated it.
Oh,
But
because,
the problem with all of that is this movie takes place in the world of the Blair Witch Project, which we know at the beginning of this movie was fake. So if indeed, so all that Rustin Parr shit never happened in Blair Witch 2. Because Blair Witch 2 exists when the movie came out and Heather Donahue's alive and Josh Leonard's still acting. And so if they add that those woods were indeed haunted back in 1990, Eduardo Sanchez and Dan Myrick wouldn't have went. So that, if you're going to do a direct sequel, fine. But this meta sequel, it should be like, oh, they go into the woods as a goof and it turns out there is something in there.
Yeah.
Or fucking the guy was crazy and he kills everybody to make it look like the Blair Witch because he's obsessed with the movie. Or, that would be the angle. So
he's obsessed with the movie.
He's obsessed with the fucking movie, but they already done that 2 years ago with Scream. So, because that's,
And I bet you that was in one of the 3 scripts that were originally
it could have
given
been.
to him.
Yeah.
Like, and he was like, no, I'm not doing a Scream knockoff, or something along those lines. So we cut back from the interrogation, back to the house, and Jeff opens the door and, quick, get inside, there's dogs, they're barking, get inside. Psych. That's just like a cool thing I do where my door has dog barking sounds attached to it. Why? Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
Jeff thinks everybody are super afraid of dogs.
I guess.
Jeff is like a technology guy. There's a shot where he's walking people through his place and there's like walls are lined with boxes of like speaker systems and computer monitors and whatever. And like, okay, again, Mr. Bucklinger, like, do you want me to believe that these people are real or not? Jeff can't be all things. Right now, he is a crazy psych patient. He is, according to the theatrical cut, so that's just what I have to base it off of. He is a real clown. He's funny. He's not like overtly like shitty and like mean. He's great with technology. He can like wire his own fucking manor, like a warehouse.
He's a
manor.
business owner.
He's a business owner.
Yeah.
10,000 satisfied customers.
2 businesses.
Yes.
I don't dislike Jeff. I mean, for the most part, until the end where everything goes off the rails, Jeff's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeff would be better if he wasn't like so focused on like being humorous. I would like this character more if he was just more like he's just into the whole scene, but everything comes across as like sarcastic in a way. Because he's like, hey, isn't life a laugh? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Well, and like
I wish you would have said
isn't
that.
life a laugh?
He should have. Like right after the door shuts, that could be the line is just,
no, it's just
there's
it's
no
just
dogs.
a board above the door, like live, laugh, love, or whatever.
Yeah, all cursive.
He slaps it every time he leaves, like Ted Lasso.
Like Friday Night Lights, he slaps the
I was going to
sign.
say that clear. It's just clear eyes, full hearts can't lose.
Yeah.
Clear Blair, full witch, can't lose.
Zach.
So
I love it. Can we have a crossover? I want to see Street goes into the woods. He's like, I need some magic.
Where are the Ricketts? All right. So, let's see. So he comes back, or they get inside, and they kind of reference. They're like, "Oh, we wouldn't want someone to steal the already stolen electronics." He's like, "Hey, whoa, not stolen. I buy and I sell and I trade on eBay." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And so,
but he has to describe it to the audience because eBay was kind of cool back in
the
2000.
electronic thing. Yeah,
the electronic thing.
So he goes in and he shows off the official Blair Witch Hunt, like storage area, which obviously he has enough space for it, so why not? But he shows off everything. He grabs the new camera and he's like doing a little inside thing. He's like, hey, here are my sticks. And some are still drying, so don't touch those. And here's, hey, who made this rock formation? Nah, I'm just still Goofy. Just me, Goofy Jeff.
I like that. Yeah,
I did too. I loved that. And he slaps the sign that says laugh.
Isn't life a laugh?
Isn't life a laugh? Let's see. Oh, and this is where the witch gets mad. She goes, this is what Wiccan culture needs. More capitalism. And she feels like she mentions her culture's being exploited. I don't know. Shut up.
Yeah.
So then I have here Thursday Adams says she walks up to him. So he's like, all right, you go sleep in my room and you could go over there and do that and everyone go do their own thing. We got shit to do. And Thursday Adams like, they should have never let you out. You're a long way from sane. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? He's clearly like hurt by that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's psychic,
he's
but she
very
can't
sane.
see she can't see what's right in front of her, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy who's making money on this. You know,
Yeah.
he's jumped on this thing and he's doing. I mean, if you think about his past, okay, yeah, he's been in and out of a mental home. Nobody in his town likes him. He's always being taunted by the cops, and yet he still is like, "Hey, I'm gonna try to make the best out of this situation."
Yeah,
and
it would,
he's doing
it would be more
He's
interesting
making money.
if it was like that's how they view him, but really in reality, it's just he did something different. He's just different. He'll capitalize on this thing that they all hate.
Yeah,
And so it's like by virtue of that, they're upset that like, well, you should have been one of us, but like they don't really play into that. It's just, hey, Jeff's kooky, everybody. Also, maybe in one version of this multiverse, he stole a baby.
Jeff Patterson into the multiverse.
Yes. So
That's what Burn Notice is. The whole thing, it's just another multiverse of Jeff Patterson.
that's all it is. One of his variants. So we get back. Jeff's in the editing bay looking over his footage with the witch and the psychic, while Steven and Tristan, they talk about the baby. They're, this and that. Now Erica's looking through the footage and she's like, hey, wait a minute. The big tree that you were goofing about earlier, it's a small tree in this shot. He's like, that is weird. Told you something was weird with that tree. Was big, now small. And so then he's like, hey, Thursday, hand me one of those DV cassettes, which like, it's funny to me because like, I know they're called DV cassettes, but like, what, again, this is where like, they're like, he's got to sound smart. And it's like, couldn't you just said, hand me one of those tapes?
Smart.
Like hand me another tape.
It's a DV cassette, Zach.
Like, if you had said, hand me a tape, she'd go, what? What's a tape? Like,
Here's the thing. If he was 18 years old, I would believe that. Because when you're figuring this stuff out, it's really cool that hey, guess what this chord is called? A stinger. You know, like that type of thing. But he's an adult man. And it's like,
exactly.
I don't remember all of the dialogue in this movie. I'm pushing most of it out of my head right now. But he's not like really going after the girls even. Like, I think he makes comments like he's flirty, but like at no point is it's just like he's trying to impress anybody. It's just, so Zach, I'm with you.
It's just the way he talks. Yeah. For some reason. And I'm like, okay, sure.
He does describe enhancing the footage later, and I did like it. He says,
at one point later on, he's like, oh yeah, I enhanced and found another angle. I'm like, what do you fucking mean? You don't just go into the metadata and go, oh wait, hold on, turn the camera 180 degrees.
Hold on, I gotta find this now because I actually like the line. Like the line.
Because she asks him, doesn't she ask him? Well, can't you just? And he's like, well,
can you make it?
Of course.
Can you make it bigger?
Yeah.
Okay, and so he says, oh shit. Okay. Jeff says he give me a little bit of time because I'm going to redigitize the footage at a higher frame rate. Not a higher frame rate, but at a higher
resolution.
No, a higher bit rate. Sorry.
Oh,
he's going to redigitize the footage at a higher bit rate so he can blow it up, and that's accurate. Like, you're not going to get a ton difference, but
you're not going to get what he got out of it.
Yeah.
But it is something.
And then he pushed his glasses up and he snorted.
Like, huh?
Yeah. So let's see. So Thursday reaches over to grab the DV cassette, and Jeff's like, hey, what's happening? You got lesions on your shoulder. And she's like, oh, it's probably just a backpack rash. It's like a lot. There's a lot going on there. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Probably
herpes
a backpack
of
rash.
the shoulder.
Yeah, she's just embarrassed.
She got from that owl.
Yeah, she did. So the video's playing like normal. They're watching it, and then suddenly a flash happens. And they're like, what is that? Steven shows up, and he's like, oh, that looks like Coffin Rock. And Jeff's like, how do you know about Coffin Rock, you time traveler? And he's like, no, it's just a thing I know. And he's like, oh, okay. So then he talks about how people got gutted and placed in the shape of a pentagram at Coffin Rock. The witch is annoyed, and this is where she says my least favorite fucking line in the movie, where she goes, the great American pastime, blame it on a witch. And it's like, I get so mad because like in America, you know us, we're all about apple pie, baseball, and blaming shit on witches. That's our three big things.
Well, she's talking about
here.
like the, fucking
like Salem and all that.
Yeah, Salem and
sure, but it was just it sounded so dumb. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the thing we do here all the time. So Tristan calls for Steven. She's like, you hear her calling for Steven directly, and he's like, oh, I better go see what she's up to. Goes upstairs, and she's fast asleep. She's snoozing. So he goes to tuck her in, and then he hears some kids crying outside, and he goes and he opens the 10 locks on the door, including like one that has a key from the inside. And I don't know where he got the key, but it doesn't matter. And there's a ghost outside standing on the bridge, and it does that herky jerky backing up like horrible Michael Jackson moonwalk. And
going backwards because it comes back.
Yeah, it goes, you brought it back with you. And I fucking died laughing. I watched it 3 times. It was so funny to me. And he's like, oh, he shuts the door. And Tristan is in there, and she's like, hey, what was all the crying out there? He's like, you heard that too? So then the two talk for a bit.
Oh God, what if Jeff would have just played off like I didn't hear anything, and then poor Tristan, she's after her, now she's hearing kids crying. I mean,
oh Jesus!
At least Jeff didn't play it off like I didn't fucking hear anything, because that would have been just awful.
Ryan pulling the red blanket out.
Sorry, it's such a big part, because it comes back in my last section, the miscarriage and the killing of the kids and everything. Yeah. So it's a big part of, not big, but if there is any big part of this story, but
Yeah. So the two keep chatting away, and then we cut back to the interrogation room, and we get Steven in there now, and he's crying. He's like, it was an accident. I swear it was an accident. And that's the end of my section. Because he's screaming about an accident.
Okay, I think it's my turn.
It wasn't on purpose.
None of this makes sense to me.
God, I had a better script. I should have had this lanced on my neck before principal photography, but there was no time.
Rumor has it that Buckley's mom also was screaming, this was an accident, when Buckley was born. But I don't know.
Bob, you told me this couldn't happen if we did it in the butt. You told me. He's like, I couldn't tell.
In the Buckleys, the anus and the vagine are one hole.
Well, they're just when Buckley fathers give their sons the talk, the birds and the bees, they're like, well, son, you just sniff around, find where it stinks, and Ryan
bringing out the brown blanket.
There it is.
I got a lot of blankets, guys.
Okay, Jeff, Kim, and Erica reviewing the footage when they see another glitch in the Matrix. The footage and time code jump from 1:32 a.m. to 3:57 a.m. and then back. Where did that footage go? What happened with that time? Jeff is able to slow down the footage and see a ghostly figure, kind of looking like a naked woman dancing around a tree. The tiny tree we were talking about earlier. Jeff says he needs a little while to redigitize the footage at a higher bit rate so he can blow it up. So he actually is kind of rude in this moment. He just says caffeine. And Erica's like, oh yeah, I'm here to please or something. So she gets up to go get coffee, and this is when the real fucking weird shenanigans begin. She's digging around the fridge and she's trying to find coffee, and like it's all stale or something. I don't know how she could tell because she like opens it. I don't know if she sniffs it or something, but there's like a box of KFC and batteries in there for some reason. But anyways, Steven is sitting at the table nearby alone. So she starts trying to talk to him, and he just jumps down her throat big time. He's like, sorry, I'm just stressed out about Tristan and this, that, and the other thing. But when we cut back to Erica, she's twirling her hair a little bit. Ooh, maybe that shouting got her spiced up. And she starts slowly making her way behind Steven while he's talking about how stressed out he is. So she starts rubbing his like shoulders, and she starts like working her way down. And she's like, lower. He's like, yeah. She's basically massaging his butt cheeks at this point.
Put a finger in.
God. Oh, God. But then she starts kissing his neck. It gets hot and heavy. And like, I feel like this moment was supposed to be the same thing as like the paper snow, but it's not. It's just, hey, these two start making out. They're on the table. They're going all over each other. And they're like literally ripping each other's clothes off. And you hear these comedically loud, like, yeah. like Bucklinger was sitting in the studio and opened up a bag of like remember those aluminum foil sun chip bags or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, rip that open.
Well, everybody wears Velcro clothes in the woods because so Steven had Velcro drawers on, Velcro shoes, Velcro socks,
Velcro tykables.
Yep.
But anyways, Eric or Steven's shirt comes up and you see these two runes. Not burned, kind of like a red rashy infection, and it's kind of looks like what was on Kim's shoulder. And he's like, oh, I've got to know what they are. Like, I think I'm okay. And she's like, yeah, I got the same things. Like, fuck it, who cares? Blah, blah, blah. And then she Dark Moon Risings him right in the chest, slashes him wide open in a pretty decent practical effect.
Yeah, that was
blood
good.
pouring out and everything. And he's like looking at it like, what the fuck? And then he looks back up at her, and then we like kind of like do like a weird snap zoom wipe cut to him sitting at the table again. And he's fully clothed and he looks confused, and we pull out and they're both at the table sitting across from each other. And it's like, did that happen? What happened? Was it a vision? Ooh, ooh, ooh. But anyways, I don't know. I think they get called upstairs to go back to the editing bay. And Kim and Jeff are being a little awkward. They're like, yeah, hey, we think we kind of figured we hacked the Gibson. We think we can show you the garbage file. And they play the video footage, and they're kind of like Steven and Erica are watching. And then, oh my gosh, who is this naked dancing woman other than Erica herself? And yes, Joe, we see her nipples. Both Joes.
He won't make it this far.
No. But anyways, Erica is very upset with this. And let's see. Oh yeah, so they're like asking her like some like Steven's very accusatory. Jeff's kind of like, yeah, if this is just like your witch thing, that's okay. You can tell us that. And Steven's like, he fucking give me back my son. Oh
no, red blanket. He's just screaming it at the river.
Anyways, they don't know what to believe, and Erica like leaves the room very upset. And Kim says, you know what, I've had enough of this, Jeff. Give me the keys to the van. I'm going to get some beer. And she's like going to go around very politely and ask everybody if they want something. And she pops it on Erica, who's like on the floor, like leaning back and forth on her knees. She's surrounded by like a pentagram of candles, and she's got a knife, and she's, reciting.
I'm one with the force is one with me.
Yeah, I'm one with the force is with me. I'm one with the force is with
me.
She's
just babbling something over and over and over, and Jeff's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. So Kim's like, hey, whatever, like just do your thing, but also I'm going to the grocery store. Do you want anything? And then let's see. Erica starts talking about like, she just ignores Kim, and she's like, oh, we brought something evil back with us. Oh my God, it's like pulling the air out of me. I can't breathe. I'm feeling squished and all this stuff. And then she knows that, like, I know you've got those like runes on you, those wounds. I know you've got them. I've got them too. And they're growing. Wounds. They're growing. And then so like they both start like looking at themselves and seeing that they are spreading. And then Erica says it's an ancient pagan alphabet. And she says a bunch of other shit, but Kim panics. For some reason we crossfade, I believe, out of that scene. Erica's like, blah, 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 blah. We're like crossfade out, and it's just Kim pulling up to the convenience store. So, this was a very well prepared film. And as soon as she gets out of the van, immediately she is sexually harassed by a group of 3 teenage boys. I think the idea here is that it's like, hey, it's the small town. You got the creepy kids and being weird, but it's just awkward. So she goes inside the convenience, or she says some shit to him like, yes, like, fuck off. Your penises are small. And she goes in the convenience store, and there's that, I don't know, this codger, this man laying on the ground that's fixing the fridge.
He's still fixing the cooler.
He's always fixing that cooler.
Yeah. And is this the time when he says, I'm done?
I'm finished.
Yeah, because that's what Rustin, is that Rustin Parr? Isn't that what he said after he walked out of the woods after killing all the kids? Is that what he said? I think that's what he said. It's a reference to that. I'm done now.
Anyways,
I think that's what it was.
So she's like walking through the convenience store.
The deviled ham lady's still there too.
Yes. And she's like immediately accosted by her. She's like verbally abusive and like pushing her cart into her.
Which is totally full to the top.
Yeah. Well, she waited for another shipment.
Yeah, and there's like 40 cans of that shit in her cart, and that's all that's in her cart.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, pause.
So it's all fake. I mean, it to me, it's giving the impression that this is surreal. This isn't necessarily even real. She might not even left the compound at this point. Because things are
sorry.
Well, I mean,
at this point, we do not
she does.
Know. Yeah, she definitely technically does.
But Yeah.
But we're not getting the truth right now. Anyways, she gets both barrels of the Guff gun from the cashier. And it's just very big, you're not from around here energy. And the cashier's like, I'm also the manager, so like, fuck off, I'm not helping you. And Kim's like, dude, like, let's just do this transaction, I'm gonna go. And the cashier's like, no. And she's like, okay. So Kim starts throwing shade at her. She slaps a nail file out of her hand. She starts choking her. And then she bags her own beer, throws her money at her, and says, keep the motherfucking change.
What I thought was really weird about this is that the cashier notices something's weird, so she manually turns on the security camera.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible way to have security. Like, you shouldn't have security that you have to trigger.
It's like a doorbell button.
Because imagine if they're like, so you were robbed yesterday, did you happen to turn on the camera? No. Couldn't get there in time, so no footage. It's not
shot my fingers
running.
off.
Yeah,
wasn't able to.
Yeah, because at first I thought it was she was like ringing the cops and she was gonna get pulled over.
That's what I thought it was too.
No, it's because we're all stupid as fucking shit, guys.
Good point.
And we would never just assume that when we see this footage from this camera later, that it was just the security footage of the convenience store. We had to see somebody push a button. We had to see a red light flicker on the camera. So we're like, yes. They have security here.
Yep. That makes sense. Because we as the audience are idiots, so that does make sense.
I'm also sure that if this was written into the script, if this was Bucklinger's idea, then it's probably some sort of red herring bullshit where it's like, maybe this town is organized. Maybe they've turned against the witch people, But anyways, throw all that shit away. Kim leaves. She's confused that where are these horny teens at? They've gone. She gets in the van, starts driving on the road, and then kaploosh, back window shatters. Oh no,
horny
what can this be? She stops. Like I don't think she gets out of the vehicle. Or maybe she does. I can't remember.
She doesn't. She just stops and looks in the rear view.
Yeah, and they're like throwing rocks that come running out of the woods. She's like, oh, and she drives off and crashes. And then
she also swerves.
Yeah, she swerves
when hitting the ghost children.
7 old-timey ghost children.
Okay, I understand that there's a child component to the Blair Witch lore, but like
never this much though.
And also that old, like they look like fucking chimney sweepers.
Yeah. I mean the
happened in the 40s. The
kids were in the 40s.
Yeah, that was the 40s where he killed the kids 2 by 2 and.
So, like, maybe they looked like old-timey chimney sweeps. Fine.
So, am I allowed to be upset that, like, you should have reposited how this lore plays into the whole film and not just assume that I want to go back and watch Blair Witch 1 to remind myself?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you bought the DVD 2-pack at Walmart, Tyler, so you can just do that. It's fine.
I forgot. Crashes, gets out, looks around, and she's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to leave and, whatever. I apologize. Sorry. Before the van crashes, technically we cut to Erica. She's still doing her witch thing. She's being watched, by that awkward looking owl, that Bucklinger hated, that it's outside the window, and Jeff is watching Erica do this, and Steven is listening to everything happening. And then we cut back, and then we have the ghost kids and the van, and whenever she gets out, the road's empty. Where did everybody go? What happened? And she takes off, but the van looks kind of fine for like a full-on collision. Yeah. And I am done.
All right. She gets back to Jeff's place. Excuse me.
He's eating that ham. He's eating that ham.
Yeah. No, I'm not eating that ham.
Eat the ham.
Oh, yeah, because it was chicken.
It's chicken spread. She reaches into the bag. She reaches into the bag to get a beer, and she goes, and she's bleeding.
Oh, no. What could that mean?
And that nail file was stuck pointy side up in the bag.
Ooh.
But there's no way in hell that cash register woman would have been able to do that because she had it slapped out of her hand.
Yes.
Another weird Blair Witch happening. Interesting.
And there's more blood on the nail file than could have possibly just come from that cut she just received.
This probably doesn't mean anything.
No,
and there's some chicken and ham spread all over the handle.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So she goes upstairs.
I'm
and meets
spreading
up with
my
Jeff.
chicken right now.
That's right, baby. And explains that she fucked up his front fender, swerving to avoid these old timey looking kids. Jeff is, oh God. So Jeff is like ignoring her, staring at the screen, and he starts to swivel his chair around, and then he like jump cuts, and it's him in the chair still, but it looks like he's in an electric chair and he's being zapped.
Oh, yeah.
Just for a little bit. It flashes for a second or two, and then he turns back to normal and says, coffee.
Again, Jeff is all
she
right.
says, it's next to your arm. And sure enough, there's like a whole carafe of coffee sitting there. The next morning, Steven and Erica have a very awkward conversation, but it's revealed that Erica has agreed to drive him and Tristan home. They're gonna leave.
Thank God.
Tristan goes back to wake Steven goes to wake Tristan up. But she's like, oh no, I'm sleepy. And
Our work.
And then he's like, Erica, and he's trying to find her, but she is nowhere to be found. Jeff is like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And have you seen Erica? No, I haven't seen her. Oh, go check out the van. What happened to the van? And we see the van, and it is completely fucking totaled.
Yeah.
Like it is how I imagine Joe's car looked. Like it is fucked up.
Yeah. It's demolished.
Yeah. Kim is just like, I swear it was just the front fender.
Oh, I didn't notice this before. There's one of the seats is just laying on the ground outside of it.
Yeah, it's just outside.
Women drivers, am I right?
Ladies, am I right? Get them off the road.
It would be even better if the whole vehicle was just deconstructed and laid out.
And all the pieces are labeled.
Yeah.
Here's the strip.
There's a manual with the steps to put it all back together.
Well, because Rustin Parr was also a mechanic, so he's like, well, shit, I found a new vehicle out here.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Let's take it apart. See how it works.
The Blair Mechanic Project. They do people's cars to take apart.
Tristan reveals that she and Jeff had the same dream, and that they all have the bloody handprint markings on their body. Not handprint markings, but some of them have handprints. Some of them have the what do you call it? The runes on them, and they're growing, and they all indeed have them now.
The runes.
Gosh. I also missed Jeff's pot farm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
he's
just
growing
there.
a bunch of weed too.
Yeah.
It's standard.
Okay, I
Come
actually
on.
really like that. Is this the only time we see it? Is when they Steven walks over to the window to look out at the van?
I think so.
I think that's the best shot of it. I think you get a glimpse of it earlier.
Okay.
But I don't think they ever really like, all right, and here's where I grow all my weed.
Yep. Hey
It's
guys,
just- it looks
420,
like-
let's toke up. All right.
Is that what weed smoking
Dude,
is?
I was doing ganja. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just I'm.
It's the
I've
ganja
never
ghost,
slurped
everybody
down-
from Ouija's
You've
is
never
here.
slurped down a 32 ounce of weed?
I haven't.
I'm
I'm not.
How to Train
You ever
Your
had
Dragon
liquid
to
weed?
commemorative cup. My Venom one is on the fridge.
Your Venom bong.
We are Venom. No, my Venom cup. I don't have a Venom bong.
Uh huh. Sure.
He has a
I
carnage
have an
bong.
R2D2 bong. Get it together. Oh God, yeah, they all have the things. Oh God, they can't find Erica.
she
Erica's
turned into a
missing.
pile of clothes.
Dang witches.
Basically, so they look all over for her, and Kim finds her clothes laid out like she was fucking raptured, like she got
Left Behind.
snapped, like in Left
Oh,
Behind.
no.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Nick Cage shows up. What does Nick Cage say about this all, Trevor?
Oh shit! Well, you better find your friend. She's gonna be a witch, I guess. My new movie with Pedro Pascal's coming out next week.
I hate my ex-wife.
Yeah. But I love dinosaur bones and buying up as many as I possibly can.
Classic. Nick.
Classic
bits right
Cage.
there. So yeah, Kim finds all of her clothes laid out. She also finds a pentagram necklace in the clothes. Oh my god!
That's
And she runs
devilish.
outside. That's the devil's star. Then we cut to Kim in the sheriff's
devil's
office,
star.
and the sheriff like walks into the room, and then we cut back to the house.
I'm so
and
fucking
now
tired of
everyone-
devil stars.
Yeah, now the fucking brain trust is all together, and Jeff thinks that this is a prank. Two little bitches trying to scheme or something, trying to pull a
Two
prank.
little bitches.
It's dumb. It's such a stupid thing that he does. Kim does it, but Kim swear like I have no idea what's happening. I have no idea where Erica is. They try calling her dad. Oh, Tristan's like, maybe she called someone. They all go, oh. So they tried to call her dad, the minister, in Munnsville. Somehow,
Is that
they
real?
know.
Munnsville? I'm gonna look it up.
I have no idea. Somehow they know his phone number.
Munnsville is not a real town.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I looked it
they
up.
somehow found his name and number. I guess the phone book, maybe.
you just Munnsville Church and ask Jeeves.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And
You call
Father
the
Erica's
operator.
dad.
Yeah. Hey, my friend Erica, her dad is in Munnsville. Can you connect me to him? Okay, thank you.
His name is actually Reverend Wesley Ican.
It's a bit.
W. Ican.
Is that really what his name is?
No, but Wiccan would be his initials.
Oh,
W.
yeah, okay.
There it is.
The Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch
Ryan
Project.
trying to bring the smart jokes in this house.
Hey,
No,
that's
do
the
not
Blair Witch
belong.
Project.
Wiccan blanket over the whole podcast.
Blair-
Jeff thinks it's a prank. They try calling her dad, but the receptionist says they've never had any children. Bah, bah,
The receptionist throwing out that kind of personal info. You can just say they're not here,
Yeah.
wrong number. But no, they never had. No, they've cheated the IRS. No, yeah, they had 3 mortgages on their house. No,
You're right,
they
it's probably healthier. Thank you.
they gout.
Sorry, it's snack time.
What do you
hell
got
yeah.
there? What do you got there?
His
What are we
caretaker.
snacking on tonight?
What do you put chicken
they're just
pate
like
on
some veggie and flaxseed corn tortilla chips.
Oh,
You put some chicken
that's a
pate.
lot of
Put some
descriptors.
Pork butt, mashed potatoes.
Great, you ate butt.
I ate a whole ass.
I ate-
And I don't know why I'm so snacky these days.
That's
Good
it.
Snacks are good.
Day after 420. I wonder why.
Oh, hold on, got a toke.
I was gonna say he was hitting the weeder pretty hard. You gotta see a doctor if you're gonna keep toking this hard.
Tyler sounds like the Three Stooges sleeping when he's toking. There's flies going in and out.
That's better than what I was gonna do. Ryan's funnier than me.
They never had any children.
Red blanket.
Yeah, red
Either did
blanket.
Tristan.
They're all freaking out. Steve, this is when the movie kind of goes into Malevolent Movies mode and just shit happens.
Yeah.
Steven starts talking about group hysteria again, man, on the footage. Yes.
Halifax slasher.
What about him? Oh, yes, a mass hysteria event.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's right.
oh, bring it,
That's right.
Everybody
that.
check out 3 episodes of Midnight Missing Mysteries.
Yeah, it was a great show that we did a couple times.
I consider myself Midnight Myths and Mysteries #1 fan. I adore those 3 videos actually.
Well, we got to get him to commit to any one thing ever, so that's fine. On the footage, Jeff sees people fucking with his shit, but he can't get a really good look at who it is or what exactly is happening. But people are knocking his shit over. Basically, you don't get a good look at it. Then Sheriff Craven calls him and tells him to turn the news on.
Turn the fucking news on.
I love this.
You're watching the news.
I love
You
this
watching
part
the
from
show?
Sheriff so
Yeah,
much.
This is it does not feel like a Blair Witch bit, but
No.
it's in the movie. It's fine. I laughed. It got me. They turn the news on, learn that the other tour group has been killed on Coffin Rock, where they sent them. Oh no. Sheriff thinks they are involved as he found no cameras in the wood. I didn't find your cameras out there.
This is the first time that a lack of evidence equals
Is
guilt.
evidence.
I
we
have
found
no
none of
reason
your
to believe
DNA
you were the
scene of
killer.
crime, Jeff.
So clearly it was you who was there. Who did
I
it.
sniffed all the leaves. I did not catch your scent.
Means it was you, son.
Let me
They
smell your
can't leave the
drawers
county.
just to make sure.
Yeah, they can't leave the county because they are under investigation. Apparently,
Yeah.
Oh, then an owl flies through the window.
Yes.
And I just wrote things are tense. Because then it just cuts to them in another part of this house sitting around being real anxious. And Jeff is like, none of you motherfuckers are going to leave. I'm not getting saddled with this shit.
Which is fair. Because this cop
I
has had it out
understand.
for him.
He's like, I just tried to make a buck. I took you guys in the woods and all this fucking shit's happening.
You really feel bad for Jeff at this point because he did all he was trying to do was make a couple of dollars. Now he's got all these basket cases running around his fucking house. He got blood in his van. His van's crashed. On top of that, you got the fucking sheriff breathing down his ass again. That just he's just trying to make a few honest dollars.
Exactly. And then Kim says again, I think we brought something back with us from the woods. Jeff thinks it's Erica. She's a witch, man. They argue and Kim leaves. Then we cut to Kim in the sheriff's office. Oh yeah, where he berates her for wearing makeup and black clothes.
Makes her take it off.
Oh, wipe that shit off your face.
Sorry, that reminds me. Okay, so I don't know if it's clear in the movie. I didn't pay close enough attention. The director talks about, okay, here we've reached day 1 in the warehouse. Now we're in day 2. Now we're in day 3. There's at least 3 full fucking days.
3 days.
Possibly more. But also, this guy talks such big game, Bucklinger talks such big game about watching these characters like fall apart. And my first thought is, as he's talking about this, I'm like, why couldn't their fucking hair fall apart? Their makeup fall apart? They all look handsome and beautiful at all times. Kim's especially, because she's clearly all powdered up to be goth, and it's like she should look like just a regular woman who woke up with like bed hair and like half her makeup's gone. Like
she should look like Robert Smith from The Cure now.
Bucklinger,
this fucker. Oh yeah, and then back at the house, Jeff sees Kim eating the dead owl. Blood dripping and all. But then there's a quick cut to a psych ward again, and then back to Kim eating some of that old KFC.
Oh yeah, I love that there was this old KFC and stale coffee and batteries. That was all.
That's all he's got in his place. But look at that! Erica's outside. Tristan sees her. She's just like, "Hey, look, there she is." She's like full on nutcase at this point. But she's not going crazy, as we'll learn in a minute. She tells Steven to... Steven goes over and there's nobody out there. We see it and there's nothing there. And she says, Steven, look again. And he does. And sure enough, there's Erica with her titties out.
Ooh, yeah.
Just kind of twirling and swirling. And he runs out to see her. And he runs out on this like weird walkway thing. From earlier, and she does the herky-jerky backwards walk, and she says something, you know who it is, ain't life laugh. And he tries to follow her. He tries to follow her, and he immediately, like, the whole thing collapses. Oh, Jesus Christ.
He grabs onto the railing, like it's vertical now, the drawbridge or whatever. And he climbs up.
Yep, he climbs up. He's hanging off the edge. Tristan comes over and like just looks down at him and then turns and walks away.
Does he could just keep like screaming, Tristan, help!
Help! And then Jeff and Kim hear him and run up and help him up.
God,
then we
look,
we cut to
every time I see Jeff, you know what I see?
What?
I see little Ryan Matthew Ziegler sitting in his chair with his blanket, just being like, I'm Jeff. Ooh, I'm Jeff.
Jeff's cool, man. I like Jeff. I like the way he looks. I like his hair.
You do. I know you like picturing Jeff like editing a Alkaline Trio music video.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah, he'd have been like, oh, stupid kid, this video kicks ass. Get a quick shot here. Yeah.
Oh God, Ryan. Ryan shared a picture in our chat. Oh God, I'm sorry. It says Erica Day 3, and it's Robert. What's his name?
Robert Smith from The Cure.
Robert
how
Smith,
he looks these days.
Yeah. But he's like, clearly, this is the last song of the night.
Yeah, he looks rough. Looks like somebody's
last song of the tour.
The ringer.
Last pizza of the week.
Looks like Grandma Buckley after Ryan's done with her.
God.
There's that perfume on a pig.
Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. Tristan is
Grandma Buckley, if you want some of this, you better plate it.
God damn it.
Get some of that. You got some of that rouge?
Yeah.
Never mind. Blair Witch 2 together.
Tristan is twirling around on her bed, yelling about the little Buster boys. She's singing like an old nursery rhyme, or that's how it feels, at least. I don't know if it actually is. She's having Ellie Kedward's dreams, apparently, where she sees them through Ellie's eyes of her being dragged out to the woods and stabbed and burnt and then eventually hung. And Steven comes in and she's explaining all this to him, and he says, "You're not going crazy. You're not going crazy." And that's the end of my thing.
Okay. So, all right. So Jeff is watching all this. Jeff is watching all this on his monitor, which we see is the property of Pearson Community College. So, Jeff he gets what he needs. Let's put it that way. Jeff gets what he needs. Kim interrupts him and asks if he knows the name of Tristan's doctor. She thinks they better give him a call. So Jeff points to a drawer and says, "Yeah, the phone book. So she opens the drawer, finds the phone book, but she also finds detailed files on all of them. Pictures and news clippings and report cards and social security cards. Jeff denies knowing about them. She's like, "Are you spying on us?" No! Even though he had just been fucking spying on Steven and Tristan. He's like, "Why would I spy on people?" Behind him, fucking monitor, Steven and Tristan in full color. Well, actually, it's black and white. Speaking of, in this moment, Steven then comes up the stairs and he starts getting involved in what's going on. Then we quickly cut to Steven in the interrogation room, where one of the cops says, "How did you get mixed up in all this?" We cut back to the loft. They're kind of arguing, bickering a little bit. Then the phone rings. Jeff answers it, speakerphone, and it's Sergeant Detective Cravens. He says he's out front. I'm not really sure. He's a sheriff. He's probably all of it. Small town, the guy who wears many hats. He says, "I'm out front. Get your fucking ass out here now." But how? The bridge was gone. Doesn't matter. Jeff looks on his monitor. The bridge is indeed intact. He says, "This is too weird." Or, maybe Kim says, somebody says, this is way too weird,
guys.
Yeah. Jeff reflects on his time in the mental hospital as he approaches the front door. So we get shots of him slamming himself into walls and doing all this crazy stuff. As he keeps hearing Craven screaming, "Get the fuck here! Get to open the goddamn door!" And he unlocks and opens the door. There's no Cravens, but there are real dogs. So his dog alarm, normally real dogs, but they're across the broken drawbridge or something. He then goes into the closet, grabs a rifle. He's going to shoot those fucking dogs. Jeff starts taking a turn in my mind. You're just going to shoot those dogs? Come on, Jeff.
Well, and do you think that the reason he uses a dog alarm is because that's his biggest fear is dogs? He thinks everyone's scared of dogs.
Yeah.
He's like, that's why I've got the dog shotgun. Like, I'm terrified of dogs.
That's why every day when I go home and I open my front door, you hear the sound of Joe climaxing.
No, he's a quiet comer, remember?
Oh God, that might be the most, single-handedly, the most disturbing thing he's ever said on the show.
He just goes...
Oh, that was worse, Ryan. Red blanket.
That's a white
That's
blanket.
the purple blanket. That's the purple blanket. All right, so yeah, he grabs the gun to shoot them, but the dogs are gone.
The gun dog.
Stephen and Kim then
The
show
dogs have guns. Oh, no.
The dog has a gun.
They're all dressed like mob bosses. They got Tommy guns.
Yeah. This is for you, Jeff. We're tired of your fucking shit, rough. So yeah, Stephen and Kim show up.
The animal.
He goes to put the gun back in the closet, but when he opens the closet door, he sees Erica, pretty much nude except for some underwear. She's standing in the corner, facing the corner, just like Blair Witch style. He's like,
remember that?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's like, she's standing facing the corner.
I saw that last movie.
Yeah. I'm done now. That's Joe climaxing. I'm done now.
Enough.
So that's his mom.
When he's
That's his
finally
fucking stereo. No, that's the washing machine going, enough.
Yeah.
Tired of this crust. So Erica's standing in the corner, just wearing panties, and she's facing the corner. And so they're like, Erica,
Holy
what are you
shit.
fucking doing? Erica. They turn her around, and she's pretty much dead. She's got, clear, milky zombie eyes, and she's just standing there
that
dead.
she's standing of her own volition. Because I thought she was
stiff
hung
as a
in there.
board, I'm sure.
Yeah, she just turns
Rigor
around
mortis.
like she's on something. That's weird.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That was where the gun was. So that's got like this rotating thing, and that she was standing on it. And it spins.
Hooked onto the gun rack.
Yeah.
She got stuck on it.
It's an automatic tie rack. It just circles around.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she'll be
I'm gonna
back
get
around
you
front in
dogs.
about 5 minutes.
I'm gonna get you dogs from my dog shooting gun comes up and he just like it's spinning around.
Hold on now.
So Erica's dead. Then the three of them try to piece together what has happened, which just turns into argument. And as they argue, Tristan wanders in and starts talking about things being backwards. Erica's dancing. She danced backward in the video. That little scary ghost girl, she walks backwards. Everything's backward. She says something about winter shins. And Jeff's like, what the fuck are winter shins? And Ryan's like, what the fuck are winter shins? And then she says something about undo the evil. And she talks backwards, babbles some, sounds like she's talking, backwards speech. Then Kim says, I think we need to run the tapes backwards. So they're like, all right, well,
She's psychic.
Sure. Yeah, let's try it. They try. It doesn't work. And then I think it's Steven says, well, try backwards keystrokes.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know what they're typing. So
I'm hitting Control Z. Let me try Z Control. Oh, that did it. It undid the witchcraft. Everything's fine. Oh, thank God.
We use technology to defeat witches.
Yeah.
Control V, Control V, Control W. So it works. The backwards keystroke thing works, and they find the missing hours.
For some reason.
The footage of the missing hours where they blacked out. And you see it was just a big silly orgy. There's a lot of skin, a lot of crazy movements. Just you see them destroying their own files. They're writhing around. There's one funny shot where Erica's there. I think it's Erica, and she's naked. Pretty much in spread eagle, but she's got like a fucking human skull, like in between her legs. It looks like a Rob Zombie album cover.
Yeah.
And there are people fucking, everyone's banging. It's kind of like the montage we saw earlier, party wise, but just more sinister and more witch like because they're obviously out of their gourds. Then we see them all get daggers. They're like each getting their own like sacrificial dagger, and they all get naked. Then we see Tristan is the person who hid the tapes, and then she picks up the camera and she stares in it spookily. So then everyone's like, Tristan, it was you all along. Despite the fact that everybody in the video was acting crazy because Tristan hid the tapes and looked scarily into the camera. She's the fucking witch. So they start accusing her of being behind it all. Why aren't you marked? Why don't you have the marks? Of course, she starts to get hysterical. She starts, I'm denying knowing anything. I didn't do anything. What are you doing, Steven? Tell them I'm not. Jeff, of course, grabs a video camera, and he's videotaping this all, and he's saying shit like, we're not going to take the fall for you. Tell us what you did to Erica. Admit it into the camera. Even Steven's chiming in. Just admit it. Just say those words. Just say the simple words. Then he accuses her of purposely hurting the child, purposely causing the miscarriage. She says, remember, the witch kills children. And then Tristan kind of, this goes around. They say all kinds of shit, but you get the gist. And then Tristan kind of gets angry, and she flips off the camera. And that's the end of the Blair Witch 2. That's the way the movie ends. So
That's
who knows
it's
what
over.
happened?
Done.
If we can find the tapes.
Yeah, you're off the hook, Zach.
Maybe we'll find the Book of Shadows at some point. Probably
Yeah,
not.
where's
Yeah,
this-
remember
where's
how
this
that's the
Book of
title of the
Where's
movie?
the
Is that a
fucking
thing?
Book of Shadows?
Yeah, what Book of Shadows?
All right.
I've
so let
seen
me bring
files.
home-
I've seen a phone
No,
book. I've
it's-
seen no
it's-
Book of Shadows.
It's the history or hysteria, Stephen's book.
This
It's a Book of Shadows because it doesn't
Oh.
exist.
Yeah,
God.
there, that makes sense.
I hate that might be the truth. Is that the
maybe
truth?
that is.
I don't know. Book of
I mean,
Shadows, Blanket of
Because
Red.
there's not a physical Book of
What
Shadows.
you
right?
fucker?
So,
Blanket of red, blanket of white.
so
Steven's gonna party tonight.
That's right. Watch out for
Hey, that's
demos,
tight.
baby.
So Tristan flips off the camera, and then I like that she like gasps. It's like clearly this isn't Tristan anymore, right? she's been replaced by Cool Tristan, who's like, the jig is up. Fuck y'all. I hate ya. And then like, and I like this because it felt like a possession, but where the thing was just like, I'm done pretending. Like, she's like, you're all gonna fucking die. Hey, follow me. Come up here. And then like they all follow. And one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, she looks Steven straight in the face and goes, you want to kill me? And he goes, no. Like it wasn't scripted and he didn't know what to say.
Oh, and at one point, Jeff does go, "Which bitch?"
Yeah, yep. It's like the dialogue here gets
it's rough.
So then they start to follow her up like the stairs, and Jeff goes, "She's the witch, man!" Brilliant. Internet Explorer Jeff over here finally caught up.
When do we get to talk about this nonsense? Do I interrupt now, or do we wait till we finish?
If you want, we can talk about it now. We're not too far from the end.
Somebody fucking explain to me, please.
Mm-hmm.
What is the witch? Because I hate this. I hate this so much. It's just abstract. It's whatever you want. And that's what this fucko Bucklinger said over and over. It's meant to be ambiguous. They're ruining the ambiguity by making me splice in the shots of the stabbings and the ambiguity. And it's like, after we got to the warehouse town and about 10 minutes into that, I didn't give a fuck about any of these characters because they're all unreliable. You can't trust any of them. And
nothing happens.
In my mind, they're compromised. So I don't care about them. I don't care where they go, what they do, who they are. And even worse, they're only haunting and hurting each other. It's not like they're going out and doing it to other people. And so like,
well, they do, but
who?
What?
Well,
they kill all
the
those people at
group.
The coffin.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And the
cashier.
sorry.
Anyways, I didn't give a fuck about them either. So it's like this. I hated this. I hated all of this. I was bored out of my mind. I didn't give a shit. Not even the fucking re-edit solves this problem. I don't give a fuck about any of these people. I don't know what the Blair Witch is in this. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. And if all the idea that the Blair Witch is that it drives you crazy, then I don't give a fuck about the Blair Witch. Guys, I said I'm so fucking high right now. Whoa. Oh shit.
The weed got him.
Oh, I'm transcending. Man. Fuck the Blair Witch.
Oh. You never saw that? You never saw that in those weed commercials when we were younger. It's like, gonna make you lazy, gonna make you upset, and it's gonna make you hate the Blair Witch.
Yeah. Well, that's what Rustin Parr happened to Rustin Parr. You know, they caught him, he killed all the kids, and the sheriff was like, "What did you do? Why did you do this? Who told you about this?" And he's like, "You all right? I learned it from watching you." Because they were all high and killing in the 40s.
That's right. So
Meatless Tuesday.
Them jazz cigarettes back then.
All right, so they follow Cool Tristan up the stairs, and she ends up wrapping a noose around her neck, and that's when Jeff yells, "Witch bitch," thinking he's like super clever. Also, so Jeff's below, aiming, like looking at him with the camera. And they all go up the stairs, and then Jeff like climbs up like a separate way for some reason. He doesn't take the stairs because Jeff's cool.
Well, he knows he's got the secret hideaway and the secret,
I've got a secret route. If you climb the railing over here,
he's got the gym rope.
Yeah. So, Cool Tristan's over here pulling Steven's strings, and she's really ticking him off. She ties a noose around her neck, and she's like, "Oh, you got no balls. Oh, little Steven, no balls. He couldn't push me. Little Steven has no balls." And he's like, "Ah!" And then I'll show you my balls, and pushes her.
He does. I'll show you my balls, and he just pulls his balls out.
Yeah,
and she squeezes it really hard though, so you can really see the brain.
And it shocks her, and she falls backward. So she falls back, and Black gets her neck snapped, and she dead. No more Cool Tristan.
It was a good neck snap. It looked
really good. Yeah,
and I will say this.
It was effective.
I'm not a huge fan of the cinematography overall. It's good. It's fine. It's just kind of got that stock 2000s feel.
Yeah.
But there is some good lighting choices, throughout the warehouse part of this. Lots of awkward angles. And so there was thought put into it. So whoever the cinematographer was, decent job. Don't work with Bucklinger, find somebody else.
Well, that's funny you bring that up, because I remember in one of the many articles that were coming out, just before Blair Witch 2 came out, it was either the director or the DP said that they were wanting to go the other route. They're like, well, the first movie was so lo-fi, we really want this movie to look cinematic, and they were going to put a lot of work and effort into, making the movie look polished since the first movie was rough. But
I don't disagree with that. I just wish the script was more polished because
wish they would have actually written a script. Because somebody was sat down, let's write Blair Witch 2. Not take this movie and this movie and this movie and smush it together and call it Blair Witch 2. Works for Die Hard sequels, works well. It doesn't work well for Blair Witch movies. So
works for Die Hard sequels.
Oh yeah, because all the sequels were supposed to be other movies, and they changed them to be Die Hard movies.
Oh, there you go. All right, so let's see. Tristan's snap. She dead. We see some flashbacks. I wrote, we see flashbacks of the nude Manson family killing some people. Then we get a report from Dinah Nopolis is her name. I don't know. Dina Nopolis.
The Diamond Dallas page comes
Dinah
in.
Papadopoulos from WQVT News.
Yep.
Coming to you live.
Dina Nopolis. She's standing
First
outside
on the scene.
We find out it's a abandoned broom factory, which I felt like we knew it was an abandoned factory, but that's a big broom factory, and I don't know if it was a witch joke.
Witches, dog.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
it's a fucking Quidditch factory.
It's a good movie.
God damn it. Fuck off. Fuck off.
We're here outside of the broom factory. We just caught the golden snitch. 300 points to Gryffindor.
You son of a bitch.
When Jeff's buck naked and you see his bare ass, you see a little golden snitch fall out of his crack.
Dude, and the owl
the
owl was delivering mail.
Oh my God!
J.K. Rowling!
This is a Harry Potter movie.
All that paper snow was probably all their shit flying to them. They gotta go.
Yep. Oh my God.
Magic.
Oh my gosh.
We did it.
This makes so much more sense
and
now.
the Sheriff Cravens was really just that letter that was sent that yelled at Ron Weasley.
Yes.
What do they call that? The squealer or the howler or something like that?
The howler. The
howler.
Jeff Patterson, we've been hunting you since you were a boy.
And the tapes are really kind of remembrals.
Yeah,
because
that's
you're
right.
remembering what you saw. Or they're a lot of waves or whatever.
Yeah, they're little pensives.
And there's a Horcrux in the river.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know what? Bad Blair Witch movie, really good Harry Potter movie.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
Can we tweet out J.K. Rowling and say, hey, we know you took everything from Blair Witch 2?
Oh, the crimes of Rustin Parr.
Jeff's the boy who lives. So, let's see. So, we're outside. Dinah's standing there. She's like, that's an abandoned broom factory. We got 3 survivors, but they've been arrested for murder. And we see the mystery machine. It's all still in one piece. It's not damaged like we had last thought. So that's not how that was before. Hopefully this isn't a trend for the next 5 minutes of the movie. We see Copphorn Leghorn interrogating Jeff again. He's like, and he goes, I ain't no documentarian. Like the way he says it, we get you. But the college is working on the footage right now. Right?
We can tell.
I like that part. I did like that part because I like the idea that Burkittsville is so fucking dumb and shitty that we had to send it to the community college to get the negatives.
And they get us to look at.
Yeah.
The director did say that they were kicked out of Burkittsville or something. He says they were like run out of town. I'm sure it's more like they just
whatever.
People
I'm
were
sure
just probably like shitty about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see Steven. He's looking through the papers. They gave him like the dossier that they had found at Jeff's place, and he's just like looking at it. He's like so confused. And it's about the killing of the other tourists, but he doesn't remember that. And then we see Thursday Adams, and she's asked about Peggy, the cashier from the gas station who died. And she's like, but I don't remember that. And then the reporter says, which the reporter's doing the newscast. Ironically, both of the women were murdered by their friends after participating in a vicious murdering spree. Not irony. That's
it's just a lot of murderers hanging out.
Yeah.
You hang out with murderers, you're going to get murdered.
It's going to happen.
Even if you murder.
So then Jeff's asked about the redhead, and he's told that he killed her, and they even show him the footage of him like putting her in the closet. He's naked.
Yeah.
Erica, yeah. They specifically call her the redhead, but he doesn't remember that. And then, then Steven's over there getting the bad cop treatment, and they're showing him the footage and of all the bad things they did, and he's like, no, none of this happened. I don't believe you. And the last lines of this movie, The last words spoken in the whole movie are
Same, Zach.
That's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bullshit.
So there you go.
And then you're like, oh, and then it says directed by, like, what the? It's over. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say, Ryan? I missed it.
Man. Huh?
What?
Huh?
Sorry.
Huh?
Anyways,
Burkittsville.
to double back on my original point. Sorry, I was doing a goof. On my original position about studio meddling and all this stuff, Bucklinger's original script was not good. Whether or not this fan edit is close to it or not, I got the context from the commentary. He wanted to do a meta take on the situation where he kind of took down this idea that you shouldn't be doing this with the media. You shouldn't be lying to people because you can rile them up, you know. And I think he maybe mentioned January 6th will be a day we'll all remember. And then, sorry, that's a joke. But my point is that nothing was going to save his original vision, because his vision was, hey, what if a bunch of people who really liked the movie, The Blair Witch, went out to the woods and then just weird shit happened. They forgot about it. And then we watched them get upset with each other for 45 minutes only to reveal what actually happened. And that one, it's not scary. So it's like, you can't even go into this being like, ooh, good horror stuff. Two, that version, like, I'm not one of these people, but I know there are people out there who like horror movies just for the gore. You're not going to get that either. Three, you're not coming here for the plot, because it's not like it's deep. It's not like you're like gaining any knowledge, let alone any knowledge about the lore of the Blair Witch. It doesn't expand on it in any way, shape, or form. It's basically just like, hey, the Blair Witch movie happened. They go out to the woods. Shit gets fucked. And guess what? They all end up in prison. And it's
they
like,
end up in a broom factory.
what did we gain from this? We gained nothing from it. And I'm not trying to take anything away from you, Ryan. I know that you're hard for Jeff. I know you got a semi-chub for this movie.
Jeff.
But for me,
no, it's not a good movie. No,
Malevolent.
No, it's a. Well, are we going to go?
I didn't mean to. I jumped the gun there.
No, we're doing it. Fuck it.
Go ahead, Ryan. Launch me into it.
All right, on a scale from malevolent to. All right.
There you go.
Trevor,
hold on, Ryan. Set me up one more time.
On a scale from malevolent to benevolent.
Red blanket.
Oh.
The new lowest, darkest setting.
Yeah, no kidding.
That bubbling crude.
A terrifying new bottom we found.
Yep.
Wonderful.
We found the bottom. What was ever was in that rag? Found the bottom.
Hey.
All right.
Okay, sorry. Oh, Ryan, go ahead.
Oh.
Your turn. I've gone. I'm done. Malevolent. I'm
no,
done.
This is a Malevolent. I don't see how you can argue that it's a good movie by any stretch of the imagination. I have nostalgia for it because of how much I loved the first movie, and then how excited I was for the second movie. And it's something that I watched. I don't know, every couple of years it pops up, and I'll watch it. I don't own it. I probably never would, unless it was like in a box set or something. But I will say, if you are going to watch the movie, I would say knowing that it's crap, watch the first movie, and watch this movie on a cold afternoon in the fall during Halloween.
It does have some good autumn vibes. It does.
Yes. That's probably what I like more or less about it. It's that vibes. But it's also the nostalgia of the time period, the kind of movies that were coming out at that time period. It's got the the jerky little ghost and all that kind of stuff. But no, it's not a good movie. The
jerky ghost.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
The jerky ghost. The jerk off ghost. But there's kernels of good ideas, and I often wonder, since we have hence had a sequel that kind of followed the first movie, because for years I thought, well, maybe if they just would have done what Paranormal Activity did, which was a very similar kind of thing, where it was this sleeper hit made for nothing out of nowhere that scared everybody. They followed and built on the lore while still keeping the same aesthetic that made the first movie so successful. This movie tried to do something completely different, but I always thought, well, maybe they should have just continued and not done the meta thing, stayed in that world, which we kind of got with the third Blair Witch. It was almost a remake, and really in a lot of ways. But again, it was sort of, what could they have done? I'm just baffled that this was the sequel we got. This was the fucking sequel to this huge movie. Even if they rushed it out, this is what we got. It's just shocking. The money that was put on it, the soundtrack, a lot of major label bands, so they paid money for that. There was so much put into this thing, and this is the Blair Witch 2, and it fucking killed any chance of a franchise for years. It's more of a fascinating movie, I think, to me as a horror fan and a movie fan than it is a good movie or even a watchable movie. But I would say it's worth a look at the very least if you enjoyed this podcast, especially just for a curiosity, because it's such a strange. There's so many strange little choices, But yeah, it's a Malevolent though. No, definitely. Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good movie. No. Yeah, Trevor.
All right. Yeah, this is a Malevolent movie.
What?
Ryan pretty much nailed all of the nails on the head. It's fine. If you care about the Blair Witch, give it a shot. It is very quick to watch. It is 90 minutes. And the end of the credits is 90 minutes. So
that's a 3-hour movie.
So like Ryan said, if you got a Saturday afternoon and it's November and you got nothing else, give these a watch. Do a double feature. Watch both of them back to back, and that's your afternoon right there.
Watch them butt to butt.
Yeah, this wasn't as bad as I had imagined. This is, like I said, I had never seen this one, but I do remember when it came. I remember when the first one came out because I was too young to see it, but my dad saw it and really liked it. Told me what it was all about and that there was a new one and that it was really bad. And that's really all I knew for years, is that it was terrible, it was terrible, terrible. It's not as terrible as I thought. There's a few nuggets in there that could have made for a good sequel. Like we said, I like the whole meta aspect, especially like so long ago, back in 2000. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish they did a little bit more with that, like they do eventually. But
Christopher Guest, Tommy Lee Jones,
yes,
Blair Witch 2.
Waiting for Parr.
Waiting for Rustin.
Yeah, waiting for Rustin.
Well, there you go. It writes itself. So it's a group of theater people. They're going to go and do a summer festival. They're going to do it in Burkittsville, in the woods. They've written a musical about Mary Kedwards or whatever her name is, or
Just do it like this. There is a tour group, but maybe the tour guide is really weird, and maybe all these people, instead of just being weird, are like funny, silly, weird. Ha.
Yeah.
And then they all die in brutal ways at the end. They'll get ripped apart.
Yeah.
I love it. Less wizards than I would have expected from Harry Potter, but it's wonderful.
Yeah, Grindelwald ain't in this one.
Damn.
Grundle.
Zach.
Grundlewald.
Grindelwald.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much that can be said that hasn't been said. I mean, it's a Malevolent.
Then say it again.
All right, I'll say it again. It's just one of these movies that like it just oozes 2000s in every capacity. It's like you can just wring out the red towel and it's just like the red blanket.
It just smells like Ziggler sweat.
Yeah.
Smells like
a chicken towel. So
that chicken towel, that's not a joke. I was fucking big into that. When this movie came out, it was probably when the chicken towel was at its zenith. Was when it was being used the most. It was probably around this time.
Get you a Book of Shadows branded chicken towel.
Everyone needs one. But no, it just like what it does wrong, it does it in abundance, and what it does right, it doesn't do nearly enough. It like there's a few things it does well that I enjoy, but it's just like we talked about, it's like I was all in when they first started, like with the footage of like Conan and all that. I was like, okay, cool. If this is all found footage again, or like a different style of documentary about the movie and like shit that happened, I would have been all in. But then they decided to go a different route. Just didn't pan out for me. So Malevolent, it's bad. It's not even like fun enough for me to say that people should watch it personally, I guess, unless you need to complete that corner of your
complete the trilogy.
Yeah.
You need that lore.
Yeah. But no, I'm definitely Malevolent.
Whoop, whoop.
Well, there we are. It is a full across the board Malevolent for Book of Shadows Blair Witch 2. But what's most important is the new lore, Malevolent movies lore that has come out of Blair Witch 2. We've got the red blanket. a brand new little thing. Maybe there'll be a red blanket shirt come out in the future. Who knows?
Hey, there you go. Yeah, I'll think of something.
We got the red blanket.
What Tyler said something funny. We said, "Ain't life a laugh" or something.
Yeah. We got ain't life a laugh.
We gotta make cursive like wooden signs.
Yeah, ain't life a laugh.
And so a lot of good lore came out of this episode.
That's great.
And
And if you happen to know anybody that worked on Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 in any capacity, feel free to share this with them, and we'd love to get their
Give us a call.
Yeah, come on, butt licker.
Hey, you know what? I do want to give a shout out.
I'm sorry for calling you a butt licker. This maybe sucks.
I'm only kind of half sorry, but Bucklinger.
Yeah.
We got to give a shout out. We've been getting a couple surges in the podcast downloads.
Yeah, I don't know what you all are doing, but keep it up.
Yeah. Hey, whoever is in Satellite Beach, Florida, thanks for downloading 15 episodes.
Wild.
Hopefully a couple people.
Did Sean find a new friend or something?
Maybe.
Because it is on the board at his job.
Yeah.
That's right. I bet you we hooked a few suckers in there.
Hey, whoever's up in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, thanks for the 28 downloads.
Hey, 28.
All right.
We got
I don't know anybody in Oak Creek.
Couple fans in Portland, 41 downloads.
Hey,
Spokane, Langley.
No way.
Someone in Bowmanville. I think this might be in Michigan. Somebody in DC downloaded one episode and didn't come back.
Oh shit.
That's okay.
Oh.
We got a couple new fans in Houston. It looks like
Nice.
up. I'm not sure if this is in Vermont or Delaware or Rhode Island, but Fitchburg. Fitchburg.
Hey,
Speaking of the house,
Fitchburgians, thanks.
Hello.
I
Welcome
think I
aboard.
saw a couple in Germany. In Wuppertal, Germany. Finberg
shit.
in the house.
Hey,
Finberg, our foreign correspondent. I love
And
him.
guys, we are going south. We got somebody in. I'm gonna butcher this.
Uh-oh.
Guanira, Brazil.
What?
Yeah,
Brazil?
Yeah.
we got somebody. It
Damn,
was probably an
all right.
accident, but they still
Well,
downloaded
hey.
it.
If
Thanks.
we lulled you to sleep or something, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations to
Thank
us.
you. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Appreciate
You've been
you.
you've been got.
If your partner is laying next to you every night, struggling to breathe because they got that apnea, and you're drowning it out with the fucking Malevolent movies, thank you. We appreciate
doing
it.
it. God
Reach
bless
out
you.
to us. Email us if you're a new listener. If you like what you hear,
Yeah.
feel free to email and say, hey, like your shit. That's all. We're not asking for a paragraph.
No,
just
no,
say, hey,
Yeah,
let us
keep
know
it
you're
brief
out there.
anyways.
Keep it
Yeah.
brief.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of keeping it brief, extra big shout out to Ron Carter, who reached out to us
my
via
God,
email
super fan.
very mysteriously. And we hope that it might be something big, something fun, maybe a director who was upset and wanted to chat. And instead, he wanted us to partner our YouTube channel with him. And I very smarmily responded, eat our collective ass, Ron. And you know what Ron said back? I will do my best. Ron, this episode
Good job,
for you.
Ron. Well done,
You're
John.
officially
Or
inducted
Ron.
into the Malevolent Movies Hall of
Yep.
Fame for your response. Thank you very much.
Right up
Yeah,
there with
yeah,
Red Blanket.
Yeah, well, Ron, that's the thing. Ron could have hit us with the red blanket. He could have been shitty about it. He
Yep.
could have been, well, fuck you. I just had a great opportunity.
My-
You're lost. But no, he's like, man,
My
with
son
a joke.
was eaten by an ass.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, Ron Carter.
my son died watching Rectuma.
Oh no! We all
all of our
died
souls.
watching Rectuma.
Yeah.
But I tell you this,
man.
Ron Carter, just with that one comment, has added more laughter than Joe Buckley has added.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many
You know
episodes.
what?
So thank you, Ron. You're the
Ron
new member.
Carter, come claim your seat on the podcast. Joe is out.
Yeah.
Ron's in.
There's plenty of room in that chair. So you could sit cross-legged, whatever you want.
That seat comes with two parents, a built-in room with a fridge.
A flashlight.
Oh, red blanket, red blanket.
Heavily used fleshlight.
Heavily used, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all duct taped.
The bacteria in that thing's got to be insane.
I can't even
Red
imagine.
blanket.